バカみたい子供なのね、夢を追って傷ついて嘘が下手なくせに笑えない笑顔を見せた I love you もろくに言わない口下手でほんまに不器用なのにどうしてさよならは言えたの。ダメだねダメよダメなのよ、あんたが好きで好きすぎてどれだけ強いお酒でも歪まない思い出がバカみたい。バカみたいほんとバカね、あんた信じるばかりで強い女のふり切なさの夜風浴びる一人になって3年が過ぎ街並みさえも変わりました。なのにどうして未練だけ置き去り、ほんまにろくな男やない揃いの指輪外します、ざまみろせいせいするわ、いい加減待っててもバカみたい。ざまみろせいせいするわ、なんなのよこの涙バカみたい。
That's right. It's fucking Thursday. Holy shit, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean for you? What does it mean for me? Well, we're about to find out. Look at this gang in the chat. Fucking holy shit. All these early burlies. It's been a while since I've said that. Holy fuck, it's been about 2 years since I've said that. Oh my god. Hello! I'm here. What's going on? We've got Just Johnny. How are you doing, pal? Trash Can. I am alright, love. How are you? Oh, thank you for the follow. Straight away, as soon as I'm live. Thank you for the follow. You don't even know what I'm about yet. About to just fill your brain with, like, commie trash. You're just following away like you didn't even care. I'm backing it, though. Boot, boot, de boot. How you doing? Prosy Rosie, hello. How you all doing? What's going on? Truly a throwback Thursday. Truly. Absolutely, truly. I'm giving the coffee a go again. The decaf coffee. If no one was here for... Was it Tuesday that I tried the decaf coffee? I can't even remember. My head's doing that thing again where it, like, disappears. Oh my god. Fuck off. Need some new gels for my lights. I was supposed to go out and do that. But yeah, I didn't. Because I forgot my wallet when I went out to the gym. Because I don't normally need it. I Star Mist. Hello. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? What's going on? Gang, how's your day going? What have you been up to? Tell me things. You know, help me get warmed up for the stream so that I'm good at talking and all that shit. What have I been doing? What have I done today? Fuck. Shout out Keir Starmer. Oh god, Sophie, what's wrong? What's happened to you? What happened to you? Mate, look at all your pennies. I know, I'm fucking smashing it already. In the month, this month of our Lord, February. Look at that. Hey, JMM, how are you doing? Hello, Zorro, how are you doing? What's going on? Welcome in, welcome in. What are we doing today? More white people owning exotic animals? Wait, what? That was ages ago. That was last month. That was the Great Hippo Stunlock of 2022. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. No, I'm actually going to be avoiding white people content today. I'm going to be looking for... it's Black History Month. So, you know, I feel like it's important for us to highlight black voices, right? I'm just normal. What do you mean? Of course. Folks, if you've not already, please go follow Sophie from Mars and go follow Just Johnny. Lovely beans. Both of them. Great streamers. Starmer should join the Tory party. That's true. That's true. He should. I agree. What was I saying? Yeah, so basically, I've got a couple of videos in the watch later from some black creators. And I think the ones that I want to watch are either from St. Andrew or FD Signifier. I really want to watch FD Signifier's Drake one. Drake and the Death of Hip Hop. Because I'm a little bit of a fan of hip-hop, actually, believe it or not. Yeah, no, I'm into a bit of Jurassic 5 and a Tribe Called Quest, stuff like that. All the kind of like 90s old school hip-hop, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre. I love that stuff. So, we should be good to check that out. Yeah, Tribe Called Quest is so good. Oh, let's have a look. Where's my watch later? There it is. Okay, yeah. So, Joel, is ready. Roots Maneuver. You know, the one song I listen to by Roots Maneuver that people fucking hate. Witness the Fitness. I listen to that when I'm in the gym all the time. My mate Wes calls it Witness the Shitness. But I love that tune. I love it. I love that tune. It's great. There's also... You know what? I've been meaning to listen to some MF Doom. I've been meaning to listen to some MF Doom. It is actually a sick tune in it though, Sophie. That's the thing. That's the thing. Yeah, I have been missing to go and listen to some MF Doom. I've listened to some MF Doom. Fuck, what was the tune? Is MF Doom the guy that did that one about like the samurai? There's like a tune about a samurai, and it's an animated music video, and it's dead good. Have I made that up, or is he feature on it? I feel like he features on it. Also, speaking of Snoop Dogg, I want to check out Foreign Man in a Foreign Land. He's done a video called Snoop Lyin, aka Snoop Lyin. That's not the real title of the video, but I think that'd be really cool to look at, because I always thought it was like super weird when Snoop Dogg was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be a Rasta now." I was like, "Oh, okay." Isn't that Wu-Tang? It could be Wu-Tang. Yeah, it could be Wu-Tang. So yeah, we got a bunch of stuff. We got a bunch of stuff to check out later on. We're gonna hit up the news first, which sucks. I know. I'm sorry. It sucks. We gotta look at the news. We gotta go to Democracy Now! And check out the news. That's just how it is. Let's get that up now. Excuse me. What is this? David Lynch? What? David Lynch motivates you? Okay, I'm gonna need this before we start. I'm gonna need this before we start. All right. What you saying, David? What you fucking saying, bro?
And so you just stay alert, do your work, don't worry about the world going by. It doesn't mean that you can sit around and not do anything. You've got to get your butt in gear and do it. And don't take no for an answer. Translate those ideas to cinema or to a painting or to whatever. And figure out a way to get it done.
There you go. Great. I love that. Thank you. Thank you, David Lynch. Hey, Ellie Simone, how you doing? What's going on? Old School by Danger Doom is awesome. I don't know if I've heard that one. Don't know if I've heard that one. Where you getting your music from? Which music? Like the music that I'm starting the stream with, or the music that I'm talking about now? Is that David Lynch smoking weed? No. Okay. He just smokes endless cigarettes, doesn't he? Right, so let's get right into it. Democracy Now! Let's check out the news. The worldwide news. Top US world headlines. Is it February 3rd? Holy shit, it's February 3rd.
Welcome.
Oh! Whoa! My background music. This is a list of video game music that I've had for years and years and years since I started streaming. If I like the sound of like a royalty-free tune, I will put it in the list, and that will be that, basically. Okay. We're straight into it, gang. We're straight into it. No fucking warming up. No warming up. We're going straight into politics. This is a mistake, but never mind. It's Amy Goodman. Let's see what Amy's got to say. Why is it always auto to 360p? Come on, give me that crispy, crunchy 720. Come on, load it up.
Welcome to Democracy Now!
There we go.
DemocracyNow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. The Pentagon says it's deploying an additional 3,000 troops to Eastern Europe as the Biden administration continues to accuse Russia of planning to invade Ukraine.
Ah, we love that. Okay, straight away. Content warning for imperialism. Because, you know, that shit sucks. That shit sucks to fuck. Let's get a title up here too. Checking out the news. Checking out the news. In it. Boom. USA really wants to have another warmish war with their pals, the Russians. Yeah, it seems that way, doesn't it? Like, it's almost like every single time the Democrats are in office. Now, I'm not saying the Republicans are any better. Of course I'm not. Anytime the Democrats are in office, they're just like, let's do a war. Let's do a war. I feel like this is Joe Biden reaching across the aisle, because there's a lot of Republicans that are like isolationist, right? They don't want wars and stuff like that. They're like, no. But then there's a lot of Republicans who fucking love wars. They love that shit so much. So I feel like this is it. I feel like this is Joe Biden's reaching across the aisle, you know? When your country's approval ratings are so far down the tube, you need a war to look cool. Right. That's what it is. That's what it is. Like, and again, here's another frightening thing. Me and Sophie speak a lot about, well, so it was Sophie that introduced this idea to me of the Vietnamese war, well, not the Vietnamese war, the war in Vietnam was basically an excuse to conscript a bunch of people who were like not working, turning into communists and stuff like that, like forcing them to go to Vietnam and fight against communists, right? And it's scary because is that what's going on here? Is that what they're doing now? Are they gonna try and start a war with Russia in order to do that? But here's the thing. These are two nuclear nations. I don't think it's gonna turn out in the same way as the Vietnam War did, you know?
Person John Kirby says U.S. troops will deploy to Germany as well as Romania, Poland, which border Ukraine.
The current situation demands that we reinforce the deterrent and defensive posture on NATO's eastern flank.
Why?
President Biden has been clear that the United States will respond to the growing threat to Europe's security and stability.
A Kremlin spokesman.
What the fuck are they talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? Bojo would love a war for his Churchill LARP. I agree. I don't understand how... Look, it's a shit situation all round, right? Russia wants to invade Ukraine. Some kind of like ancient... I used to think it was because of the warm water port thing, but it's not. They have warm water ports, apparently, Russia now. I didn't know that. But it seems to be some kind of like old semi-nationalist thing from the days of the Soviet Union, right? So they're like, we want to invade Ukraine. It's our land, right? But in the grand scheme of things, how is that like causing instability in Europe? I don't understand. Like the Ukraine has always been like a contested region in recent history, innit? You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It is wrong for sure, but it's like, but it just doesn't make any sense. But like the US are kind of going in again of like with some absurd reasoning.
Spokesperson accused the U.S. of igniting tensions on the European continent. Meanwhile, the White House says it will no longer describe a potential Russian invasion of Ukraine as imminent. We'll have more on the crisis over Ukraine later in the broadcast. The White House says a large-scale counterterrorism operation by U.S. forces in Syria has killed ISIS leader Abu Ibrahim al-Hashimi al-Qurashi. Witnesses said the 2-hour assault by U.S. Special Forces and helicopter gunships on the village of Atme near the Turkish border left 13 people dead, including 6 children and 4 women, with body parts scattered near the site of the...
Wow, holy shit. That was obviously all worth it. Obviously all worth it just to get that one guy that's definitely the leader, 100% definitely the leader. ISIS will just stop now. Obviously, ISIS will just go away now. Clearly, that's definitely what's gonna happen now. And it was worth it to kill those kids, apparently.
The assault. This follows massive airstrikes carried out by...
I'm being sarcastic if anyone's not watching the stream, if anyone's listened to it. Like, I just want to be clear, this is horrific.
Turkey in northern Iraq and Syria. Turkey's defense minister said the bombings targeted members of the Kurdistan Workers' Party, known as the PKK, as well as the Syrian Kurdish YPG militia, both of...
So, yeah, of course they're going to target the fucking, the YPG militia. Those are the anarchists, right? Of course, makes 100%. It makes sense. Makes sense why they did that. And the Kurdistan Workers' Party, yeah, sounds like a good thing that they did that. Fucking hell, this sucks.
Of which Turkey claims are terrorist groups. One Turkish air raid that destroyed an electric power station in northern Syria also injured nearby civilians.
I was inside having dinner. Then I headed out for tea. Then I heard the sound of a warplane and ran to tell my colleagues. And I don't know what happened next. All I remember is that I heard the sound of 2 explosions.
Kurdish forces said the U.S.-backed coalition opened an airspace corridor for Turkey to bomb northeastern Syria. Meanwhile, Iraqi security forces condemned the airstrikes as a violation of Iraqi airspace. The Pentagon says it's sending a guided missile destroyer and fighter jets to the United Arab Emirates as Houthi rebels in Yemen step up attacks. The UAE's military said it shot down 3 Houthi drones Wednesday, the 4th such attack in recent weeks. Meanwhile, Israel's military has joined massive U.S.-led naval war games in waters around the Arabian Peninsula. Naval ships from Oman and Saudi Arabia are also participating. It's the first joint military exercise involving both Israel and Saudi Arabia, 2 countries that have no formal diplomatic ties.
Great. I love that. I love that Israel and Saudi Arabia are now allied. That's definitely not horrific. Jesus fucking Christ.
At least 60 people were killed during an attack on a camp for displaced people in the Democratic Republic of Congo. At least 15 of the victims were children. Aid groups are calling on Congolese authorities to ensure the protection of civilians in the area amidst a spate of violent attacks by militant groups. The camp, called Plaine Savo, is located in the eastern province of Ituri and is home to over 24,000 people, many of them families with children.
Fucking hell.
The U.S. reported more than 3,600 COVID-19 deaths Wednesday, even as...
What the fuck? 3,600 COVID-19 deaths.
Daily infections and hospitalizations continue to decline from January's record levels. In Washington, Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy says a panel of vaccine experts will carefully review Pfizer's application asking the FDA to authorize its vaccine for children as young as 6 months old.
Pfizer's application will now undergo the same independent...
UK numbers are close second to that number. Yeah, that's right. Let's take a look at where the UK is at. UK COVID deaths daily. I said this to my mum on the phone yesterday. I was like, it doesn't even make sense from like a capitalist point of view, you know? It's like if you want to exploit your workforce, why the fuck are you just letting them get sick? It doesn't make sense, right? It just doesn't make sense. So the deaths at the moment, it looks like yesterday there were 534. So dry. So horrific. This is worse than when we hit that guy's truck and it hit his kids because he was a suspected terrorist or something, not proven. Wait, what's that? What are you referencing there? I've never heard of that.
rigorous and transparent review process.
It's driving you crazy hearing my parents say it's just a common cold. So there's a guy that I'm talking to at the moment, with a view to dating. And I told him, if you've not seen my Twitter, my stepdad, really horrific piece of shit. He's a Mason, and he went down to London for a Masonic meeting on fucking Friday. Like, for what? You know what I mean? Like, for what? It was nothing important. It's the fucking Masons, right? And he got COVID, and he brought it back, and I was, like, freaking out because he's such a piece of shit, and he was, like, potentially going to infect my mum with it. And I was saying to this guy, I was, like, telling him about that, and he was like, just asking out of interest, is your mum vulnerable? And I'm like, yeah, but no, but it doesn't matter. Like, people are dying from this if they're fit and healthy. Do you know what I mean? And then he was like, well, you can't really expect people to just, like, stay in and not do anything and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, I'm sick of that. You know what I mean? You get people, and then he, like, used the fucking thing of, like, the prime years of my life. And I'm like, bitch, you're 30. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about, you fucking idiot? Like, the prime years of your life, you won't remember it. If you're talking about wanting to go out and get pissed, here's the thing. You won't remember it. So stupid. Yeah, he is cute. But like, it's just stressful, innit? You know what I mean? Because like, this is the whole sort of public view on it now. You know, us lot, we're online. We have a kind of a different opinion of it, don't we? Do you know what I mean? Especially lefties, right? But when it comes to like people out there who are not terminally online like us, you just get horrific opinions like that. It's so horrible. Hey, Brazilian Catboy, how you doing? How you doing? Just be mindful of using terms like blokes or lads in the chat. I've seen that creeping back in a little bit now. Not everybody in this chat is a bloke or a lad, and they might not appreciate, you know, those terms. Muel, if you go on a date with me, I promise to give you the best opinions. I do not date my chat members. That is a horrible thing to do. And if you are a member of a community and that streamer is trying to date you, I highly advise you to see that as a red flag, because there is a unspoken power dynamic there. And yeah, it's just not cool. Hey DJ, how you doing? What's going on?
That was used to authorize the vaccines that now more than 250 million Americans have received, including millions of children ages 5 and up.
As it awaits the FDA's response, Pfizer's extended its clinical trial to see if a third dose produces a stronger immune response in young children. Initial tests showed 2 doses failed to mount a strong response in kids aged 2 to 4. The U.S. Army says it will immediately begin discharging soldiers who refuse to comply with the Pentagon's vaccine mandate. More than 3,300 Army personnel have so far refused COVID shots. Meanwhile,
3,300 Army personnel have refused COVID shots. You know what? Like, there's a sick part of me that says, you know what? The more people who do that, the better, because that means less troops for America to, you know, just go willy-nilly in Eastern Europe with, you know what I mean? But obviously, I know that's not for the greater good. That would suck. We need people to get vaccinated. Fucking hell. Yeah, and we really should be distributing this vaccine patent around the, you know, around the fucking, the world and shit. You're referencing the Kabul strike back in 2021. Oh, there are so many incidents in Kabul, like all across the Middle East of, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I guess you're on a bit of a delay, Mist. Yeah, sorry about that.
New York Times analysis shows the United States has a far higher per capita death rate from COVID than other wealthy nations, likely due to lower vaccination rates and disparities in U.S. health care. In Ecuador, the death toll from Monday's flooding and mudslide in the capital Quito has climbed.
And that's another thing about COVID in the US, like the disparity in the healthcare system, right? There's going to be people who have got it, and this is real sad, by the way, just content warning for a real sad, you know, thing that I'm going to say right now. There's going to be people who have got it and they're like not vaccinated and shit like that. Or they are vaccinated and they've unfortunately caught like a big dose of it or whatever. And because of the threat of medical debt, if it's getting bad, they're just going to choose to not go to the hospital and try and wait it out. And then when it gets too late, they'll try and get an ambulance. There won't be enough because there's too many people in hospitals. Oh boy, just real fucked up.
To 24 people, with 6 people still missing, was the heaviest rainfall in the area has seen in nearly 2 decades. In other news from Ecuador, a court has rejected plans to drill for oil in a protected area of the Yasuni National Park in the Amazon. It's a major victory for indigenous and land rights and comes just days after a pipeline burst and started spewing crude oil in the Ecuadorian Amazon.
Fucking hell.
Back in the United States, President Biden's nomination of Jennifer Reardon as a federal judge has provoked backlash among progressives. As a lawyer for the firm Gibson & Dunn, Reardon represented Chevron in its lawsuit against environmental and human rights lawyer Steve Donziger. Donziger successfully sued Chevron on behalf of indigenous groups in the Ecuadorian Amazon whose land was contaminated by Chevron. President Biden and Senate Democrats have been moving fast to confirm judicial nominations, with 42 federal judges confirmed since Biden took office, the highest number in decades. Of these, over three-quarters were women and nearly three-quarters people of color. But Democrats in the evenly split Senate could see some confirmations stalled as New Mexico Democratic Senator Ben Ray Lyin is expected to be out for at least 4 to 6 weeks after suffering a stroke last week. Biden vowed to nominate a Supreme Court justice to fill Stephen Breyer's seat by the end of the month. House Democrats.
I don't really understand that bit. What's that bit all about, chat? They're going on about like filling up judges and shit like that. Well, I don't understand. What's that? What they're like democratically placed instead of Republican? Like as if what is that going to make a difference? Doesn't sound like it's going to make a difference to me. Does that count as one death because of capitalism? Listen. Whenever you hear these idiots say things like, "Oh, the iPhone vuvuzela, gabillion, jillion dead," right? They talk about like the death toll of communism. Ask them about the death toll of capitalism. How many people have died under capitalism? That's an amount that you simply just can't. You can't count. You can't count that high. You know. Judges of political positions in the U.S. Yeah, I know that. Politicians should not choose Supreme Court judges. It should be voted for. I don't think it should be voted for. I think if you're gonna be a judge, you have to be like chosen based on your qualifications. You know what I mean? Or maybe the voting thing it doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense. A judge is made a part of a group that will decide what the Constitution says for life. Oh God, fuck that. Holy shit. Hey, Mr. Fishy, what's going? Democrats have a majority of 1. If Republicans block a vote against the nomination, they can stall it if this guy's out. Yeah. Yeah, seems like that's the way.
Democrats have accused U.S. food and energy corporations of price gouging and pandemic profiteering that's contributed to the largest surge in inflation since the 1980s. Congressmember Frank Pallone said at a House Energy and Commerce Committee hearing Wednesday that corporate executives have unfairly raised prices not only on pandemic essentials like COVID tests, masks, and hand sanitizer, but also on staple items like food and fuel.
I do think that corporate greed is motivating large companies to use the pandemic and supply chain issues as an excuse to raise prices simply because they can.
You don't say, bro. No way. Would have never thought that in a million years. Holy shit.
And a lot of executives brazenly boast to investors about raising prices on consumers without consequences. And these executives are saying they're going to continue to do so.
A journalist in Cancun, Mexico, narrowly escaped an assassination attempt Tuesday night after his attacker's gun malfunctioned. Netzahualcoyotl Cordera Garcia, the director of the online news site CG Noticias, was confronted by a man in front of his home who pointed a gun at him and said, quote, "I am going to kill you like a dog." After the
What the fuck?
The assailant's gun failed. Cordero Garcia and his neighbors wrestled the man off his bicycle and held him until the National Guard arrived to make an arrest. At least 4 journalists have been murdered this year alone in Mexico.
They just love shooting journalists in Mexico. What is that about? What is that about? Me when I get too into Fortnite? Hey, Golden Pie, how you doing? What's going on? Politics right now, I'll be like, wow, this was caused by capitalism? Yeah, we're like, catch up. Yeah, catch up. Come on. Come on, man.
Making it one of the world's most dangerous countries for media workers. The FBI has admitted that it tested Pegasus spyware made by the Israeli company NSO Group that's been used by authoritarian governments to illegally hack the cell phones of dissidents and journalists. Pegasus uses a zero-click exploit to complete an almost undetectable takeover of a target's mobile device, granting unlimited access to messages, emails, phone calls, and location data, while allowing control of the phone's microphone and camera. While the FBI confirmed it tested Pegasus spyware, the agency insisted it had not been used in support of any investigation. The FBI said Wednesday they're investigating at least 6 people of interest in relation to a series of bomb threats made against historically black colleges and universities and places of worship. All the individuals are minors, and the cases are being investigated as hate crimes.
All the individuals are minors? What the fuck? Okay, they have to have been sort of led on by older people. Like, what the fuck? People under 18 doing this shit? That's wild. That's absolutely ridiculous.
In Florida, a police chief described a phone call in which an unidentified person said,
Yo, Lilith, what's going on? Thatcher should have never closed those mines. How you doing? What's going on, Lilith?
bombs would explode.
Yeah, 4chan shit. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
Gunmen would attack Bethune-Cookman University in Daytona Beach. The caller claimed to be linked to the neo-Nazi group Atomwaffen Division.
Hey, Chimera, what's going on? Welcome in.
And
oh, hello. Something about Atomwaffen then that I just missed.
series of bomb threats made against historically black colleges and universities and places of worship. All the individuals are minors, and the cases are being investigated as hate crimes. In Florida, a police chief described a phone call in which an unidentified person said bombs would explode and a gunman would attack Bethune-Cookman University in Daytona Beach. The caller claimed to be linked to the neo-Nazi group Atomwaffen Division.
Of course, Atomwaffen Division, who you might know in relation to Andy Ngo. Andy Ngo supplied kill lists of known anti-fascist journalists, personalities, just people in general, to Atomwaffen in order to try and get them killed. So there you go. That's something.
And in North Carolina, authorities asked more than 6,500 residents of Winston-Salem to remain away from their homes for a second straight night as fire crews battled a blaze at a fertilizer plant that threatened to ignite a massive explosion. Fire officials said the plant had about 600 tons of highly explosive ammonium nitrate fertilizer stored on site.
Oh, my God.
That's nearly triple the amount that exploded at a West Texas plant in 2013, killing 15
yeah,
people
holy
and
shit, remember that?
200 homes, injuring thousands and devastating Lebanon's capital city. This is Winston-Salem Fire Chief Trey Mayo.
Who has spent many decades in the fire service texted me earlier and said this is potentially the largest explosion in U.S. history.
Fucking hell, bro.
Fire officials said the fertilizer plant did not have a sprinkler system or alarm in the building where the fire broke out. North Carolina building codes allowed the 80-year-old plant to operate without the safety systems in place because the plant was built before 1953, when sprinklers were first required. And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report.
All right. Thank you, Amy. Appreciate that, my friend. Texas, again, not following regulations because, you know, governor, yeah, well, it's going to be that, right, isn't it? Yeah, slightly larger margins over safety. I fucking hate capitalism so much, honestly. What the fuck? I've been away that long that you got a majestic set facial hair. I do have a bigger beard than before. That's correct. That's what happens. Yep. That's what's happened. I thought UK news was grim. I do feel for the average American. I mean, I feel for the average American. I also feel for, you know, the people in the other countries that were mentioned as well. Like, you know, I feel for the YPG fighters in Syria who, you know, were attacked in order to, you know, in order for the USA to bomb some guy who's apparently in charge of ISIS, and that clearly won't stop ISIS from operating. You know? Yeah. It's really dry. And like all sorts of other fucking people as well. Yeah, really, really dry. But yeah, anyway, as I say, we're going to take a look at some other stuff now. We are... Where are we up to? Where are we fucking up to? Okay, so... see if we can get some videos about this. Some videos on this. So this is fucking a bit horrific for the UK. Let me just change the title real quick. To UK living costs soar. There we go. That is the title. Tory neoliberal policies are shite. Yeah. There we go. Right. Let's have a little look at this. Got a video here to watch. See what's going on.
First, we will spread the worst of the extra costs of this year's energy price shock over time. This year, all domestic electricity customers will receive an upfront discount on their bills worth £200.
Okay, so £200, that's going to be like, what, 2 months of energy bills normally?
Energy suppliers will apply the discount on people's bills from October, with the government meeting the cost in full.
So they're going to apply that in October, right? It's now February. Okay, so explain to me the reasoning behind this.
That discount will automatically be repaid from people's bills in equal £40 instalments over the next 5 years.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, so it's a loan. So it's just a loan, basically. The guy thought it was a good idea to just give away $4 billion to businesses. Uh-huh. I'll never forgive the pro-unionist parties for saying that if we vote no in the Scottish independence referendum, we'll get cheaper energy bills. Yeah, look at that. Another form of quantitative easing. That's right, yeah.
This is the right way to support people while staying on track.
Well, it's not about the fact that they're forward planning for next winter. They're not forward planning for next winter. They're delaying relief for people who are suffering rises in living costs now. You know? I've not looked at my energy bill this month, last month, but I am scared to. I know that it's gone up a lot. I've not looked at my account. I'm gonna have to raise the fucking February dono goal in order to meet it. That's how like serious it is. It's really fucking ridiculous. Yeah, they're basically saying let's give the energy companies a cash injection of public money. That's right, yeah. France are only facing a 4% rise. Right, I mean, let's face it, like generally speaking across the board, rising costs of anything, terrible. Nationalize energy companies. That's the only way to do things. It's the only fair way to do things. It's the only way that people don't get left out. It's the only way that people don't get cut off. You know, it's the only way that people don't get made homeless because they're spending too much fucking money on their energy bills. And in general, even outside of that, France are getting a 4% rise. You got to notice that it'll be 4.76 in April, 4.76%. The UK is a third world nation. Changed my mind. Well, it's not though, is it? It's not. It really isn't. Like, let's be real. It really isn't. Like, this is nothing compared to stuff that people in the global south have to deal with. You know, let's not run away with ourselves here. This is bad, and the poorest in our country will suffer because of it. But the wealth in this country is fucking huge compared to the rest of the world. Hey Aslan, how you doing? I'm just gonna give a shout out to Aslan there. Go follow Aslan, everyone. He's great. Had a notice from your energy supplier saying you're in debit with them for the first time pretty ever much. Oh, you see, there you go. I love that. Love that. Pi, thank you so much for the £4.99, my friend. You absolute bean. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you for supporting the stream. We're at 200 quid. Holy fuck. We're at 200 quid. We are literally a third of the way through February's dono goal, and it's only the 3rd of the month. Thank you so much for supporting the stream, everyone. Really appreciate you. Really appreciate you. Just a reminder, the UK has currency sovereignty within it. The UK's power to just wipe away the cost of energy for all people in the UK. Right. BT are rising their cost by 9%. Fucking hell. Appreciate that, Pi. Appreciate you. You just moved, so all that stress is behind you. Oh, good to hear it, bro. Yeah, nice. I hope the move went well. Good, good, good. All right, let's carry on with this.
With our plans to repair the public finances. And because we are taking a fiscally responsible approach, we can also provide more help faster to those who need it most. The second part of our plan. We're going to give people a £150 council tax rebate to help with the cost of energy in April, and this discount won't need to be repaid.
So they're like paying for a month of council tax? Fiscally responsible is a bit of a stretch. Yeah, it's a huge stretch. So what? They're giving you like a free month. A free month and a bit, right? Of council tax. Like, you know, come on, man. This stuff is just so shite.
And I do want to be clear with the House that we are deliberately not just giving support to people on benefits. Lots of people on middle incomes are struggling right now too.
Are you taking the piss?
So,
like, okay, yeah, all right. Does he mean middle incomes as in like you've got people earning no money, and then you've got people earning like a bit of money? Is that what he means, or does he mean like middle class people? Because if he's talking about middle class people, sorry, not true. I don't think so. I don't think that's true.
We have decided to provide the council tax rebate to households in bands A to D.
To D? Wait, how many council tax bands are there? I don't even know which band I'm in. Okay, there's whatever. Necessary cookies only. So in Manchester, right? So A is the cheapest. They're going from A to D. Right, okay, so E, F, G, H. That's where you're paying like £2,000 to £4,000 for your council tax per year. Like my council tax per year is £1,200, right? It's like £100 a month. But yeah, honestly, it's so fucking... This is so fucking... I don't even know. Johnny!
UDIDNTC anything. Right, Muel. Same goes to you, chat.
Sure, man. I didn't say shit. I didn't see anything. Johnny, thank you so much for the 40 quid, you cheeky little bean. What are you doing, you cheeky little bean? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the 40 fucking quid. Thanks, bro. Appreciate that. Yeah, they're like the top bands. The Chancellor walked away ensuring £1 billion cut for banks. He's absolutely not on the side of the people affected by this rise. Of course he's not. No, absolutely. That's the thing that you've got to remember here. That's the thing that you've got to remember. Fun time to come in with the coincidental national averages on stuff. I was doing research for a video. Yo, what's going on, Kiri? Kiri, have a fucking shout out. Go follow Kiri, everyone. She's proper good. Oh, Rishi.
Around 80% of all homes in England will benefit. And the third part of our plan will provide local authorities with a discretionary fund of nearly £150 million to help those lower income households who happen to live in higher council tax properties and households in bands A to D who are exempt from council tax at all.
So basically what they're saying is we're not going to bother sorting out any kind of means testing or any, well, not means testing because means testing isn't great, but like we're not actually going to like do like, you know, an application form for this or anything like that. We're just going to like spurt money in random places that we think might need it. Not like places that we know will need it. It just seems so arbitrary, right? Like they're just whatever. 150 million quid for these, 150 quid. Right, and the money's going to the council. It's not going to the tenants. Right, it's going to the council, yeah.
Mr. Speaker, I know that some in this House have argued for a VAT cut on energy. However, that policy would disproportionately benefit wealthier households. There would be no guarantee that suppliers would pass on the discounts to all customers, and we should be honest with ourselves. This would become a permanent government subsidy on everyone's bills.
What the fuck?
a permanent subsidy worth £2.5 billion every year at a time when we are trying to rebuild the public finances.
Oh yeah, they've been trying to rebuild the public finances, quote unquote, for years, for 10 years. Wait till you hear what Bank of England said to workers with all this news. Yo, tell me. Drop it in the chat or whatever. Appreciate that, Johnny. Honestly, appreciate that. Yeah, VAT is a poor tax. Yeah, show me the economy. Show me the economy. It's not real. You can't touch it. Sorry.
Instead, our plan allows us to provide...
Yeah. That's right. The finances of a country is not the same as the finances of a house. Yeah. Everyone's realizing the economy doesn't exist. They just start saying public finances instead. Right, exactly. That's why I gave it the air quotes, because it doesn't mean anything. Public finances. It's like, what are you talking about, bro?
Provide more generous support faster to those who need it most, providing 28 million households.
Yeah, very fast. Applying the £200 discount in October. Yeah, that's super quick. They're getting it to the people who need it faster. With
at least £200 and the vast majority receiving £350. It is fair, it is targeted, it is proportionate. It is the right way to help people with a spike in energy costs.
Yeah, man, I guess just keep saying it and then you'll believe it, I guess, if you want. Like if that's how you're feeling about it, you know what I mean? You could just keep saying that it's the right thing to do, and then it will become real. It will become correct eventually. I wanted to check out. There was something I wanted to check out. Hold up. They are also raising national insurance prices, national insurance contributions. I don't know why, where, how much by. Hold up. Where the fuck is this? Wait, a 10% increase? No, it can't be 10%. No, it's 1.5%. It's 1.5%. I don't know why the fuck people are saying it's 10%. Nothing confirms the 350 million a week for the NHS con, like a 1.5% national insurance increase to fund the NHS. Do these people still think that like hashtagging Johnson out is going to do anything? Do they think that Boris Johnson is the one who's responsible for all this? Rishi Sunak is the Chancellor. The Conservative Party are in charge. Johnson out. I'm just going to do hashtag Johnson out. Fucking hell, man. Honestly. Rishi is also the one who wanted crypto as Bitcoin. What? It was a private energy company that sent stocks to people in response to higher energy bills. Yeah, I remember hearing about that. Yeah. The Bank of England said workers shouldn't ask for raises to help the economy. I love that. Brilliant. That's great. Love that. France has forced their energy provider to keep prices the same. Yeah. Well, Lilith was saying in the chat that they're getting a 4% increase in France, so I'm not sure about that. The one who said cuddle with pets and do jumping jacks? Oh my god, are you serious? What about disabled people, man? What about people who are allergic to cats and disabled people? Just fuck those, I guess. Fuck those people. UK households be given £200. What else do we got here? UK energy bills to rise by over 50% in April. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to stop streaming, gang. Fucking hell. 50%? I'm not gonna be able to afford that shit. Oh, please fuck off, honestly. Whatever. UK's limits on how much suppliers are able to charge for consumers for energy. Britain's energy price caps are reviewed by the government's regulator, Ofgem, every 6 months. Ofgem, the energy sector regulator, said on Thursday its price cap will be raised by 54%. So they've literally decided to do this. It's a scam, people. It's a scam. It's a racket. The fucking people who are in charge of the price caps were like, you know what? 50%. Price cap, knock it up by 50%. No worries. No worries. Are you serious? And everybody's out here, like, focusing on the ground level shit. You know? They're focusing on the ground level shit. Where if you just look higher at where this has come from, it's come from the government fucking regulator. Should we do a little bit of a investigation, gang? Let's have a little bit of a look at this. Ofgem. Let's just have a little look at who is in charge of Ofgem, shall we? Get me to Wikipedia. It's the only thing Wikipedia is good for, telling you who's in charge of companies. That's right, Plink. They got to build up the coffers now. They paid the mates. That's right. You're absolutely right. Let's take a look at this. The minister responsible, Secretary for State of Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy, Kwasi Kwarteng, Conservative Party. That's right. That's right. Thank you for the follow. All this is cracks in capitalism, and the way companies sell energy is starting to show. 100%. Yeah. 100%. I mean, at the end of the day, here's the thing. Why is the government doing this? Plink had a pretty good input in the chat there. That's a pretty good input from a first-time chat from a viewer, right? You know, they've given a lot of money away to their mates over government contracts during COVID and stuff like that due to the cronyism. And now they're like, okay, we got to recoup that. So let's, you know, get a bunch of money from, you know, the energy providers by charging more money. That means, you know, we'll get more revenue and shit like that. And they're just after the whole fucking, I don't even know what the word is. They're just after it's the unsustainable infinite money machine, right? That's what they want. That's what they want. And the more and more they do this in the UK is about to go. It's funny, someone in the chat, it was Boop Boop da Boop, said in the chat, the UK is a third world country. Right, okay, and I had to correct Boop on that because, of course, we're not. But they're pushing it that way. They're definitely pushing it that way for the poor and the working class in this country. And yes, these short-term strategies are going to result in poor and working class people getting to the point where they can't take it anymore. And we're going to start to see more and more protests. There's a reason they're trying to make protest illegal, because they know that this shit is coming. They've seen how it works in history. They remember Thatcher's government. They remember when Thatcher tried to introduce the poll tax, close the mines and shit like that. They remember how it goes. They remember how it goes. You know what I mean? So this is all part of their strategy. The UK is in early stages of collapse. It's capitalism. It's not just the UK. It's capitalism. 100%. The ministers are all shitting themselves because of climate change, because they know that they're invested in the machine. So they don't want to make any moves towards anything that would be remotely good for climate change, right? They don't want to do anything regarding that. We're in what Robert Evans calls the crumbles. That's right. Yeah, absolutely. And so now they're like, shit, how can we make as much money as possible before things really go tits up? And we have to have, like, just the UK, but make it Akira. The UK, but make it Neo Tokyo in 2019. Yeah, get your copies of Climate Leviathan, honestly. And hey, you don't need to apologize for, you know, you don't need to apologize for lurking and stuff, Plink. It's absolutely fine. Don't worry about that. Lurking is cool. Lurking is nice. I was just saying that's a cool first chat. It's a cool first chat for sure. So yeah, this is just so obviously like a racket. The cracks are beginning to show. So that all sucks. The national insurance thing, there's not really much to say about that other than it appears to be a way to make people mad at the NHS, right? Because the Tories are trying to manufacture consent to get us to use private healthcare because the NHS is overwhelmed right now. We did a whole thing on this a year ago where I was looking at an article in the Byline Times that said the Koch brothers had lobbied the UK government to actually remove mask mandates, remove COVID restrictions, so that the NHS is overwhelmed, so that people will have to rely on private healthcare, and therefore it won't be too much of a struggle when they transition to a private healthcare system. How though? People have no money? Yeah, people have no money in the US, and they have a private healthcare system over there. It's going to be interesting to see what they try and do. It's going to be horrific to see it. But that's certainly what they're trying to do. I don't know about yous, but I pay attention to the adverts that I get on YouTube when I'm just like, you know, chilling and I'm listening to music and stuff like that. And one of the adverts that I got the other day was for an app that you can get that you have to pay for, where you can get in touch, and it said, I quote, with an MP, with a GP in minutes. That was the selling point. Get in touch with a GP in minutes, right? That's what they're trying. That's what they're trying. Cut the bankers, cut the MPs, cut the rich and the riot police, cut the state, cut the war, but they just cut the poor. We're fighting back and we're fucking angry. King Blues, yeah, that's right. Those are on public transport too. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. When people are on the way to work, feeling a bit of the sniffles, come on. You know? Hey, my pirate, how you doing? What's going on? This is offered within the website my GP uses. Patient access, yes. Absolutely. Absolutely disgusting, more like. So, with all that in mind, I mean, that's the only reason that the Tories are doing that, in my opinion. You know, who am I? I'm just a little British guy, just a little queer British guy. You know, what do I know? I didn't study politics at university. I just literally look at it every day. It's technically my job. Who knows if I'm going to be right or not? But all points and sources point to yes. All points, all sources and points lead to that conclusion. It sucks. MPs really want to push full neoliberalism as if we don't all know what happened in Chile. All right, yeah, absolutely, yeah. 100%. Yeah, they love that shit. They'll all be fine because they live in their big fucking houses. Most of them, they got walls around their houses and shit. They got gates and shit. You know, they'll have sandbags around them soon. It's going to be one of those scenarios. Just a little birthday mule. What does that even mean? A little birthday mule? It's not my birthday. Right. Okay. God, if it was my birthday, that would suck because that would mean that the year's flown by. That's all that I'm really covering today. There's not really much else to cover in terms of actual news. You know? The question is, none of them have thought about where does their food come from? Where does their water come from? What about their staff? They're protected now. Oh, yeah, sure. Well, again, it's short-term strategies, isn't it? It's short-term strategies. Those staff members will turn around and start doing things like striking, right? Or just quitting their jobs, which is technically a form of striking. technically. Have we mentioned the fact that we in Northern Ireland now are fucked? No, you mentioned that before. You mentioned that before, Johnny. Like, do you want to hit us with an article or something in the chat, bro? And we can take a look at that. That's fine. You missed it all. I'm not done with the stream, a pirate. Don't worry about it. The stream is not over. This is just it for the news today. We're gonna watch some videos in a minute. God, imagine if I quit the stream like an hour in. Imagine if I was just like, yeah, that's it. See you later, gang. It'd be BBC, but hey, whatever. I paid my fucking license today because I had to. My gran got an eye operation privately the other day. First time in her life she's paid for medical treatment. Was really mad about it. They said you could get this done in a few months on the NHS or tomorrow if you pay. It's fucking shit, that. It's really shit. Yeah, it's been an hour and 10 minutes, yeah. Kissinger's dream for Chile was nothing but a nightmare. Legions of doom don't fight fair. They might impair your sight if you like to stare. Gas canisters slice the air. Neoliberalism born in Chile. It will die here. Oh, I love Loki. I fucking love Loki. He's great. He did a tune called Alhamdulillah, which is great. I love that guy. Wait, is that him that did that? Oh no, I don't think it's him that did that. No, I've got that mixed up with someone else. So that's the border checks. What are we looking at here? Let's take a look. Let's Northern Ireland developments. I did not hear the tune he did with the Mortal Technique. No. Let's twat that in the fucking title. Boom. Don't know about the NHS. Sometimes in the US, if you pay for stuff, you can get it reimbursed after. No, because we're not buying stuff on the NHS. We're buying stuff privately, separately to the NHS. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work like that. Yo, see you later. Boop boop da boop. Thank you so much for being here. Take it easy. All right. Okay, let's take this up. Let's take this. Let's see what's going on. All right. Northern Irish Protocol, Irish Sea border ongoing despite order, says Downing Street. Northern Ireland getting left behind by Britain again. Just after Bloody Sunday as well, eh? Interesting how that's happening. Checks are continuing on goods along the Irish Sea border despite an order by the Democratic Unionist Party minister for them to stop, Downing Street has said. Northern Ireland's Agriculture Minister, Edwin Poots, I remember us talking about him, has ordered checks to stop from 0001 GMT. Prime Minister's spokesman said that checks were continuing and that we are reviewing the legal position. Mr. Poots has said he made the move after receiving legal advice. Sinn Féin, the DUP's power-sharing partners, criticised the move to halt port checks as a stunt. Excuse me. The order is part of the DUP's ongoing opposition to the Northern Ireland Protocol. It is understood First Minister Paul Givan will announce his resignation later as part of that protest. Inspections of products from Great Britain and into Northern Ireland are part of the post-Brexit Protocol agreement. It's so fucked. Brexit is going to destroy the union. It's going to destroy it. And to be honest, the people who voted for it want that. They don't care. They don't care about Scotland. They don't care about Northern Ireland. Wales, people in Wales voted for it. So, interesting. Interesting. DUP have been fucked up with checks on goods since we're not that part of the mainland. We're not part of the mainland and have a land border with Ireland. To stop them, we told them to stop. They collapsed the assembly and no one can reinstate them. Yeah, absolutely fucked. So bad. Let's see if I can find an interview about this or something. Northern Irish Protocol going ahead. Let's see if we can find a video. Wait, how the US impacts Northern Ireland Protocol? There's not even any news on this today. There's not any news on this from like... Okay, 1 day ago. All right, here we go.
This is potentially quite significant, Mark. As you say, Edwin Poots, the Agriculture Minister, who last year was briefly the DUP leader, has ordered the top civil servant in his department over in Stormont in Northern Ireland to stop carrying out the checks that are necessary as part of the Northern Ireland part of the deal, Brexit deal that Boris Johnson did with Brussels at the end of 2020. Now, this is likely to put huge pressure on Brussels to respond and also on Westminster as well. But tonight, the main consequence is one of uncertainty. Edwin Poots has given this instruction to his top official, but it's not yet clear whether the official will carry it out. There appears to be a dispute about the legal advice provided to Edwin Poots. Others say it's illegal for that official to effectively stop the checks and in doing so break the law themselves. So there will be conflicting advice about whether the official can follow the instruction of the minister.
So the DUP voted the protocols through. It's so backwards. Like, why are they like this?
Of course, Northern Ireland works on the basis of an executive that jointly shares power. And tonight, Sinn Féin have come out and said that they regard the instruction by Edwin Poots as illegal and wrong. And therefore, you don't even have a united position in the Northern Ireland government about how to proceed. The issue must also be considered by Westminster. Do Westminster ministers, does Liz Truss, effectively overseeing the Northern Ireland Protocol now, and those negotiations that are still unresolved and ongoing, does Liz Truss countermand Edwin Poots and tell officials in Northern Ireland that they do have to carry out the checks in order to try and keep those negotiations with Brussels alive? Or do we end up in a situation where Brussels feels forced to retaliate? It is at the beginning of quite a long process where lots of the actors have yet to set out what they believe needs to happen next. But it is a massive headache, not only for civil servants in Northern Ireland, but for Boris Johnson's government, which essentially will now have to decide whether to back the DUP or smack them down and countermand them.
And as we know from this news that we just read, he smacked him down. So that's pretty fucked up. Pretty fucked up that that's it. Like, look how... This is always a thing when it comes to Northern Ireland, right? This is always a thing that strikes me so glaringly when it comes to Northern Irish news. When I Google it, it just doesn't come up with anything. You barely get like one news story covered by the English press. And it's so fucking ridiculous. Northern Irish, let's try sea border. No, still again, same shit. There might be more news here. Well, this is from the Belfast Telegraph and stuff. Boris Johnson says Brexit border checks are crazy as DUP. So that's interesting that he went ahead and said that. I'm not reading the fucking Telegraph though. Brexit Irish sea border port checks continuing. Let's check out what ITV is saying.
Doors being opened, checks carried out. These were some of the first lorries coming into Belfast.
Hey, Mr. Dank.
Since Edwin Poots ordered officials to stop Brexit checks. Despite that direction from the Agriculture Minister, it was very much business as usual at the border checkpoint in Belfast Port.
It was really just normal seal checks and just mandatory, make sure that the load, what was in...
Hey Dave, what's going on?
The load was stated on the paperwork, so everything was 100% there. It only took a few minutes, so...
And was it DERA officials?
DERA officials, yes.
And they were the ones carrying out the checks?
They were, yes.
They're checking your load, are they?
Yes.
Are they doing the physical checks?
Yeah, I've got to follow this guy here.
What were the officials asking for?
Paperwork.
The agriculture ones are there. Yeah, they're. Yeah.
And they are doing checks, as you saw?
I think so.
Hauliers this morning had a call.
None of that was translated good. Fucking come on, Google Chrome. Jesus Christ. Yeah, because they're a part of the union, but not part of the union because the DUP are like, think of the Protestant children. Yeah, for sure.
All with officials from Stormont and Westminster, and the message to them was pretty much carry on as normal. Any paperwork they filled in yesterday, they were told to continue filling it in today because at sites like these,
According to Star Trek, only 2 years to go until Irish reunification. Let's fucking go. Exhausted and my back hurts. Full-blown dad mode here. Not caught up on the news. Oh, don't worry about it, bro. Don't worry about it. Long and short of it is, US is going to war with fucking Russia. Not confirmed, but it's definitely a thing that's escalating. What else? Price of living's going up. Energy bills going through the roof because the government were just like, "Hell, we're gonna take the price cap off. We're gonna increase the price cap by 54%," and then they're now like being like, "Oh yeah. Well, you know, we'll give some families £200 off their energy bills." Yeah. So yeah, absolutely fucking absurd. It's all like profit margins and fucking ridiculous. And now we're currently looking at the Irish sea border. With Northern Ireland.
Officials would be carrying out checks. The Agriculture Minister says he's got legal advice on stopping these checks, so why haven't officials followed his order?
Update. Secretary of State George Eustace.
Yeah. Thank you.
An explanation came in the House of Commons from the Environment Secretary.
Yesterday, Minister Edwin Poots directed his officials in the Department for
Minnesota, Edwin Pooch. Fucking hell, come on, man.
Agriculture, Environment and Rural Affairs to suspend checks on points of entry for goods from Great Britain from midnight last night. There have been no operational changes on the ground as yet, while officials in DAERA seek further advice in response to the direction provided by Minister Poots yesterday.
Westminster has made it clear this is a devolved matter. Dublin, though, taking a different view.
I think the message coming from Brussels is clear, and the message coming from Dublin is clear. The UK government has an obligation under international law to implement the protocol. And, you know, the withdrawal agreement is clear. The protocol is part of that. And so it's the UK government ultimately that has responsibility here to,
as per usual,
follow through on the commitments that they've made. And I think Vice President Šefčovič has been clear on that, as have I in the Dáil today.
All through the Brexit process, lorry drivers have found
as a vi in the Dáil today. Fucking hell.
Themselves at the centre. This morning, they didn't know what they would face when they arrived in Belfast.
The inspections can be, if you are chosen for a physical inspection, yes, it can have a big impact as you as an operator, because it means a lorry being parked up here maybe for hours at a time. So if you don't have to do that, that's a good thing. But ultimately, it's the administration behind this is the toughest part for our industry.
Fucking admin and bureaucracy, man. I swear to fucking God. There's nothing worse. There's actually nothing worse.
We just crave some stability, some normality. We've had anything but that for well over a year now, and we just need some calm heads.
For the time being, normal operations remain at Northern Ireland's entry points. The question still remains, for how long? Jordan Motes, UTV Live, Belfast Port.
Jesus fucking Christ. Just
my old chum.
They give it the follow, just Northern Ireland just getting left behind every fucking time. We can usually just break international law without consequences. Yeah, that's right. That's fucking right. That is what the UK government says. Fucking hell. Fucking hell. Well, that's it for news for the time being. There's not really much else to cover. We've looked at COVID deaths. We've looked at fucking war deaths. We've looked at fucking all sorts of shite. We've looked at Northern Ireland. There's nothing really much else pertinent and relevant to today to look at, unless I've missed anything. Let's take a little cheeky look at what video we're going to watch next. I want to check out my watch later list. Tomorrow will be the consultation on the ban of conversion therapy. I'm really just wanting to stream every day, honestly, because there's just so much that happens. Fucking hell. Wait, was that a Dystopian Future Movies tune? Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Did we see Positive Leftist News? Positive Leftist News is out? What? Brilliant. Brilliant. Let's fucking go. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Let's fucking go. Oh, there's a whole 30 minutes. There's a whole 30 minutes. Yeah! Let's fucking go. Hey, Amina, what's going on? Hey, look, I was talking about the Elbit shit yesterday. Not yesterday, the other day. Let's have a little look.
Hello, my old chum.
You did join at the right time. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, in Oldham. Yes, near me in Manchester. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. Somewhere near me on Positive Leftist News. That's crazy. Let me just change the title of the stream. Positive Leftist News. Poggers. Let's go.
Wait, that's me. Okay, with me. From Barrio del Pilar, Madrid, this is Positive Leftist News. As Mexi mentioned in the last episode, this is growing into a larger collective, and some jobs, such as the anchor here, are going to rotate. So here we are. You're stuck with me, at least for today. First, we'd like to highlight some very happy Positive Leftist news from our team. A regular editor, Tristan, and his wife, Kelly, welcomed their first son into the world in early January. Major congrats to them and all the best to our newest baby comrade.
Baby comrade!
We begin with a major victory coming from Oldham, New Manchester, where
Oldham, New Manchester? Oh, what the fuck, man. The only time... The only time that Manchester is going to be fucking referenced on Positive Leftist News, and they call it New Manchester. Are you serious? Fucking Neo Manchester. What the fuck?
Palestine Action organized 18 months of sustained...
I'm pretty sure that in the text it was near Manchester. Oldham near Manchester. Yeah, the caption's fucking up. Yeah, but these aren't auto captions. These aren't auto captions. These are captions written by Positive Leftist News. Come on! I'm having a mank attack!
Direct action against Elbit Ferranti, a factory producing specialist military technologies for Israel's fleet of combat drones. Activists occupied blockade.
You remember how on Tuesday when we were looking at the Amnesty International report and I was telling you about Palestine Action and how they went to Elbit to shut some shit down? Thank you for the follow, by the way. I'm getting all the follows today. Like, what the fuck happened? What happened? I don't know. Anyway, thank you for the follows. And in the news report, the police were going, "Oh, don't worry. There's only 2 women here, and they're not doing anything." But it looks like a lot more is happening now.
Disrupted and protested regularly at the site, leading to 36 arrests. This month, activists got word that their tireless work has paid off. They've been successful in forcing Elbit to sell the subsidiary Ferranti Technologies, closing the weapons factory. This closure is credited to the impossibility of continuing at the open occupied site, the massive financial impact of the occupations, and an attempt on Elbit's part to avoid more bad publicity. As Palestine Action wrote, direct action works. The brave individuals who occupied the factory over the past year can proudly say that drone technologies are no longer in production in Oldham.
This is how you do it. This is how you do it, gang. Direct action.
Major solidarity with all the activists who made this possible. From Standing Rock to Palestine.
Big up Manchester, let's go.
Occupation is a crime. Free Palestine and land back everywhere. Over 6,000 workers at the multinational fruit processing Del Monte company went on strike this month, shutting down operations over inhuman working conditions, irregular dismissal of their union representatives, poor pay, and unlawful labor employment policies. This strike was organized by the Kenya Plantation and Agricultural Workers Union, who represent 200,000 agricultural workers in Kenya. The union campaigns for fairer pay, improved working conditions, and an end to child labor. The workers were angered by the Monte changing employment systems from direct to outsourcing, a move they said has resulted in job insecurity, biased employment processes, and delayed promotions. Some who have worked for the company for over 20 years have never been promoted from casual to permanent
20
employees,
years?
Meaning they could retire with zero benefits.
Fuck that.
Staff are also paid dismally, according to the Kenyan Broadcasting Corporation, turning them into beggars. The workers have vowed to keep downing their tools until their grievances are solved. Talks are happening right now between the union and company officials. Solidarity, comrades. The union makes us strong. Nurses in the St. Vincent Hospital in Massachusetts have won a decisive victory after over 10 months of striking, the longest labor action of 2021.
Fucking
the nurses
hell.
stood steadfast in solidarity even when the hospital ramped up strike-breaking efforts and threatened them all with a permanent replacement. Their main concern was the dangerous understaffing of the hospital, leading to horrendous patient-to-staff ratios during the pandemic. Ever since the hospital was bought by Tenet Health Corporation, the second largest for-profit conglomerate in the US, the hospital...
Isn't that the Christopher Nolan film? 2022 seems to really be the year of workers realizing their power. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'm here for it. I'm living for it.
Still has been run as a business, trying to maximize profit in a number of ways that harmed both patients and nurses. The nurses' tenacity have won them a limit in the number of patients assigned to nurses in some departments and a commitment to address staffing shortages, as well as wage raises and increased safety regulations. Congratulations to everyone who made these gains possible. Hey nerds! The superheroes at Image Comics have formed their first ever comic book union called Comic Book Workers United after voting 7-2 in favor of approving the union in a secret ballot election. A group of 10 workers announced the victory on their union's website, stating, "Winning this election is only the beginning. As always, we are #drawn in solidarity and are eager to continue working together with the community."
I was wondering why there was so many like comic book heroes and comic book stuff on the thumbnail of this month's thingy.
Communications Workers of America on their next steps towards securing a strong, fair,
the thumbnail of this month's Positive Leftist News,
and exemplary first contract for comic book publishing workers. The union members hope to institutionalize more salary transparency and regular performance reviews for staff and management, encourage new hires, and create a plan to improve diversity at the company. Per the Twitter account, Comic Book Workers United is calling for other publishing workers to unionize, tweeting, "It is our sincere hope that today's win inspires our peers to organize for a democratic voice. Comic Book Workers United is ready to stand with you to help create a better and more equitable comics industry for all." Not all heroes wear capes. Sometimes they sign union cards instead.
And this is all gonna lead to the more and more people joining unions, right? The more and more people who join unions, the more and more people understand the benefit of unions. When people understand the benefit of unions, then we'll start to see people joining things like tenants unions as well. Then, with that and the addition of more workers' rights, we'll see the unofficial abolition of landlords. Imagine that, right? Imagine that. Then people will start to notice, stuff like that, and they'll go for, the disability unions will get bigger. And then through unions, people will start to form what they might think would be a neighborhood union, but it will really just be like a mutual aid network and stuff like that. This is all really, really, really good. And we need to be telling people about this stuff so much. So much.
Way to go, comrades. But don't go anywhere, you comic nerds, because we have more for you. Back in this old Iberian Peninsula, comic professionals working in Spain have formed a guild with the aim of improving conditions for all workers in the industry and gather to defend their interests when facing the institutions of the Spanish state. According to their own statement, their goal is most of all defending the representation and dignity of all workers linked to the artistic creations of comics, writers, pencilers, inkers, colorists, letterers, or anyone assisting with these tasks. Anyone who works in Spain can be a member, no matter their origin or nationality. The guild includes artists making comic books, comic strips, panels, graphic novels, European albums, digital comics, and other formats that may happen in the future. Both the union we mentioned
I did see Nat's tweets this morning. I retweeted them. Yes.
Before, and this guild here, are set for a near future when reading comic books is not just as pleasant as it is today, but also a practice in fairness and solidarity with dignified workers. We salute you. Moving on from comic nerds, we got good news for unionized gamers. Pew, 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 pew. A group of 34 dozen...
I love this guy. Who is he? Who is this person? Fucking Javi? I love him.
Quality assurance testers at Activision's Raven Software, the team responsible for doing the testing and QA for games like Call of Duty, have formed the Game Workers Alliance.
Sick.
This will be their first union formed within Activision. A representative from Activision issued a statement in support of employees' legal right to organize. But union members have reported surveillance and retaliatory efforts in response to their organization. Some Activision QA testers have been on strike since December 2021 after Activision Blizzard...
What? That muted for you? Well, I was responding to what you said about Nat's tweets. Yes, I saw Nat's tweets. I retweeted them, yes.
denied contracts for new QA testers. This historic gamer union effort comes at a time of change in Activision. The company was recently purchased by Microsoft for $68.7 billion. Activision CEO Bobby Kotick is also under scrutiny as the state of California is currently suing Activision for workplace harassment, including Kotick shielding harassers from consequences.
Fucking brilliant.
We hope to report on a fully recognized Game Workers Alliance in the near future.
Nice.
On January 1st, around 3,000 Finnish workers at the forestry group UPM went on strike, shutting down paper plants to fight against unjust wages and working conditions.
Let's go.
The workers are demanding that UPM signs a company-wide labor agreement.
It's just those three guys. It's just those three guys. They're just like, yes, we've won this entire factory. That's right. We have to get fair wages, so we've shut the entire plant down.
But the company is seeking to undermine their workers' rights, splitting their agreements to seek for more surplus extraction. On Friday the 21st, the Helsinki District Court ordered key workers at UPM...
Bobby Kotick is on record of threatening multiple people with assassination? What?
...facilities to return to work. The grounds for this court order was the perceived endangerment of the critical functioning of society. And the court threatened the union with a €2 million fine. However, on the next day, Saturday the 22nd, the Finnish Transport Workers Union, or AKT, decided to stand in solidarity with the pulp and paper workers and announced a blockade started at 6 a.m. on Monday the 24th. Amazing to see workers uniting in struggle.
Let's go.
Positive Leftist News will be watching as this story develops. Employees at Ottawa's Garderie Bernadette...
You start digging through the shit at Actibliz, you quickly find it's a whole fucking slurry silo. God damn it, that sounds so bad. Ugh, I hate that shit so much.
Healthcare Center have certified a union.
You know what? I haven't watched Gymquisition in a long time. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch Steph's next video for sure on Monday.
An anonymous 18 to 18 vote. The center has been providing essential childcare services to the University of Ottawa and surrounding communities since 1988. It will now be a legal obligation to bargain in good faith with the union.
Hey, Quill.
Prior to this achievement, the board of directors had refused to recognize the union voluntarily, nor would they accept the union's policy proposals. The educator Laura Wing stated, "Our efforts to engage in the Center Board of Directors in a relationship of mutual respect and collaboration was continuously rejected, so we chose to exercise our rights and form a board-certified union. It is our mission to be treated as valued and respected professionals whose knowledge and expertise is taken into account when making decisions."
So, it's funny that you say that, Mr. Fishy. The Gymquisition has become a lot more unapologetically leftist. Here's the thing, right? I didn't ever see it as not leftist. You know what I mean? Of course, they've become a lot more leftist like Steph themselves, right? You know what I mean? But I found it so fucking ridiculous when the other day I came across a thread on my alt account where someone was saying, have you... What's your... Name a creator that you used to really enjoy who's had a fall of grace, right? A fall from grace. And this one guy was like, Gymquisition, like, oh man, just used to be like videos of cool video games about video game stuff, and now it's just about being trans and having you know, workers' rights and unions and stuff like that. And I just literally responded and said, they've always done stuff about workers' rights in gaming. That's always been a thing. So basically what you're saying is you don't like them now that they're trans. And the guy said, no. And I was like, oh, well, there you go. There you go. Source. Well, I said so. So, you know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. Ridiculous. Hey, Vod, how you doing? What's going on?
That affect the worker conditions of the staff and the education of the children. We hope to create a transparent, collaborative, and democratic workplace with the help of the board of directors going forward. Congratulations to organizers in this decisive vote. On January 11th, the director of Region 10 of the National Labor Relations Board outlined details for a new election for workers at Amazon in Bessemer, Alabama. The Retail, Wholesale and Department Store Union, RWDSU, issued the following statement. Amazon's misconduct during the first union election so tainted the outcome that the NLRB overturned the results and directed a second election for workers in Bessemer, Alabama. We are deeply concerned that the decision fails to adequately prevent Amazon from continuing its objectionable behavior in a new election. We propose to the NLRB a number of remedies that could have made the process fairer to workers, which were not taken up in the notice of election issued today. Workers' voices can and must be heard fairly, unencumbered by Amazon's limitless power to control what must be a fair and free election, and we will continue to hold them accountable for their actions. The ballots will go out on February 4th, which is fast approaching. It would be precedent-setting if workers are able to unionize this first ever US Amazon location.
Okay, I'm getting emotional looking at these messages. Holy shit. Actually getting emotional looking at these messages. Fucking hell.
Solidarity with everyone keeping up this fight. Starbucks workers in Santa Cruz, California, have become the first...
Okay, that's fucking rad. That was fucking rad.
...in the state to file a petition to unionize with the National Labor Relations Board. Workers at the Santa Cruz location have stated that they face high levels of harassment and threats of violence while not feeling supported by the Starbucks corporate. One worker who had been at this location for over 2 years summed up the issue. We know at the end of the day they don't care about us. This union effort follows in the footsteps of the historic unionization effort at 3 Buffalo, New York Starbucks locations. Workers at the Buffalo locations are already leveraging their collective power in a walkout over COVID safety and short staffing. A small team of Texas researchers is being hailed for developing an unpatented COVID-19 vaccine to share with the world for free.
Whoa, what?
Patented
in Texas?
19 vaccine to share with the world for free. Dubbed the world's COVID vaccine, the inoculation, formerly called Corbevax, is an open source alternative to Big Pharma's patent-protected vaccine.
How have you not heard about this? Interesting, isn't it? Interesting how you don't hear about the good shit in the world. Interesting how we are consistently prevented from hearing about the good shit in the world all the time. Weird how that works, isn't it? Weird how we hear all the time about the horrible shit that keeps us subjugated and makes life shit for everybody all the time. Interesting. Yes.
Corbevax, developed jointly by Texas Children's Hospital, Houston's Baylor College, and the Indian pharmaceutical company Biological E Limited, was authorized for emergency use in India amid a surge of infections driven by the highly contagious Omicron variant. Texas Children's Hospital says the new vaccine is at least...
Yes, that's right, DJ. The Oxford vaccine was meant to be open source and Bill Gates sold it to AstraZeneca instead.
90% effective against the SARS-CoV-2 virus and 80% or more effective against its Delta variant.
Holy shit.
We're not trying to make money. Peter Holtes, who led the Texas Children's Hospital team.
Yeah, India literally only got Omicron from the Brits. Yeah, it's so funny how in the UK, our government was like, oh, this is the South African variant. It's the South African variant. It's nothing to do with us. Nothing to do with us. And South Africa hadn't even fucking heard of it. It's just absolutely horrific.
Told the Washington Post. We just want to see people get vaccinated. This vaccine is a powerful reminder that it is not the corporations that produce goods, but the workers. This is a beautiful example of workers with specialized knowledge coming together to circumvent the profit motive and do something good for the world. Last month, we reported on the Kroger strike win in Oregon, where unionized grocery workers reached a tentative agreement with the management after just 1 day of striking. This month, more than 8,000 workers at nearly 80 Kroger-owned King Soopers grocery stores around Colorado also reached a tentative agreement with management after striking for 10 days. Union members voted nearly unanimously to authorize the strike over unfair labor practices against Kroger, whose CEO had been bragging to shareholders about how well they've done during the pandemic, meanwhile coming to the negotiating table saying they can't afford to treat their workers fairly. Carol McMillan, a King Soopers worker in Aurora, said, "In the beginning of the pandemic, we were heroes, and then we were kind of forgotten. We just need them to recognize that without us, they can't run their stores." Very happily, their tenacity paid off, winning them better pay, healthcare, and pension benefits.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
Safety measures. Union President King
Let's go, Kroger workers. Let's go.
Cordova said, "After months of negotiations and after our members walked out on strike, we have reached a tentative agreement with King Soopers City Market that addresses the company's unfair labor practices and ensures that our members will receive the respect, pay, and protection they warrant."
So much death and pain could have been avoided had an arch capitalist not had his say, right? You know, look at Bill Gates' face the next time you see it and see if you see the same old kindly man that you used to see before you were unplugged from the fucking Matrix, you know what I mean?
This fight will always be about the workers. I could not be prouder of our members who put it all on the line to have their voices heard. Congratulations once again to the United Food and Commercial Workers. Thousands of students across the US have been walking out of class, organizing strikes, and participating in citywide walkouts to protest unsafe conditions in schools and challenge those who are placing profits over their well-being.
Holy shit.
For example,
this is fucking great.
Thousands of students in New York City walked out of class to protest conditions and demand temporarily shutting down schools.
This is brilliant. This is brilliant.
Students also walked out in Boston, where 4,500 people signed a petition calling for a remote learning option. In Oakland, California, over 1,000 students signed a district-wide petition threatening to boycott classes entirely until school district meets its demands, which include KN95 masks, increased testing, and more outdoor space for students to safely eat lunch. We came together on the basis of we need to support ourselves and our peers because no one else is doing that, said.
Look at the fucking youth. Look at the fucking youth them. This is sick. This is absolutely sick. You know what I mean? Doing shit like this. Imagine, right? Imagine people at that age saying shit like this. These people are gonna grow up in a union automatically by the time they get to fucking work. You know what I mean? Ah, it's so fucking good, this shit.
Kathleen Savado, a 14-year-old freshman at a public school in Chicago's Southeast Side. Every single thing that young people, specifically young black and brown people, do is speculated, is looked upon, is policed. Only Chicago's youth is supporting Chicago's youth right now.
Fucking a 14-year-old said that. Let's go.
Fantastic to see such organization and determination from young people taking matters into their own hands. Tens of thousands of teachers staged a walkout in France on January 13th over the French government failing to respond to their needs during the ongoing COVID pandemic.
What? I look at Britain every day in astonishment as to like why we are not doing this too. You know what I mean? Like, why are we not doing this? We're in no more of a better position than people in France. It's just ridiculous. Why are we not having fucking walkouts like this saying, "Oi, government, sort your fucking necks out"?
Teachers walked out over government requirements that keep classes open while requiring invasive testing regimens for students with COVID exposures. Teachers are also calling for the resignation of Education Minister Jean-Michel Blanquer. Union officials have reported that walkout numbers were as high as 72% in some schools and forced about half of the elementary schools in the country to shut their doors. When human lives are being risked and sacrificed for the capitalist economy to march on, we shut it down. California passed a law requiring grocery stores and other food suppliers to donate all edible food waste to a food bank or food rescue, reducing food waste in the state and providing food security for millions of people.
I remember hearing about that last month.
With this bill, California joins Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York, Rhode Island, and Vermont in passing laws aimed at reducing food waste. Sasha René Perez, mayor of Alhambra, California, encouraged citizens on Twitter to contact their state representatives to bring similar legislation to their state.
Fuck yes.
For more information on how to do this, with links to resources, find the link to her Twitter thread in the video description below. If you want
National Food Service now
to work outside the law, there are food rescue organizations throughout the United States doing this work regardless of the laws of their respective states.
The crop can feed 12 billion. Population is less than 8 billion. That's right. Good luck getting red states to do that. Well, as they just said here, but obviously I can't recommend you break the law. We are going to start seeing more and more people operating outside the law in order to prevent food waste.
These organizations are vital to providing infrastructure when laws are passed, creating beautiful synergy between legislation
The union has been pretty pissed about COVID. I've had at least 5 emails saying that you've been in contact with people who've tested positive. You've been jabbed and you've caught it, but you're immunocompromised. The uni doesn't give a shit. It's fucked. It's absolutely fucked. Maybe try and see if you could get in touch with the student union, Quill, and get a fucking walkout on the go. Because as soon as one university does it, universities across the world, across the country will start doing it. You know what I mean?
Direct action. By working on all levels, we can redistribute the food and feed all people. Speaking of direct action, the food rescue organization, Food Not Bombs, won the federal lawsuit against them in Fort Lauderdale after a 7-year battle with the city for attempting to ban food sharing in parks. Food Not Bombs won a settlement and payment for legal fees by the city. In a statement released by the Fort Lauderdale cohort, Food Not Bombs celebrated as only true comrades can by telling the authorities to go fuck themselves and encouraging Food Not Bombs in other cities to keep up the fight, stating, "We had to bite our tongues a lot over the years to see how this would play out, but no more. We outlived and outmaneuvered the old mayor, city manager, and city attorney who were all intent on policing us and the homeless out of existence. Fuck them." Let's not forget multiple FLPD chiefs and captains who sent their goons to stalk and arrest us, all gone now. Nuts to all the narrow-minded fools who wanted to be rid of us. Finally, we'd like to say, let's fuck shit up in 2022, because everything's scary and nothing's gonna change unless we make it.
Fuck yeah, let's go Food Not Bombs. I love those. I love those heads.
People are hungry. A beautiful reminder that resistance is a long game and our battles are not won overnight.
There you go. Thanks for that, DJ.
Congratulations for Lauderdale FNB. You're a shining example of the power of persistence.
You know, and we were talking about red states just then. Florida's a red state, you know?
Indigenous land defender Amber Ortega, who was arrested during a 2020 protest for blocking construction of the US-Mexico border wall, was recently...
Yo, what's going on, Vicente? How you doing?
...cleared by a judge and found not guilty. Ortega, who is from Hiya Zed and Tohono O'odham communities, was able to successfully argue that the construction of the border wall violated her right to freely practice her religious beliefs. Ortega supporters
check it out. You can check it out on that link that DJ's just stuck in the chat.
Supporters cheered as they greeted her outside the Tucson courthouse. No cages, no borders, and land back everywhere. We have 2 good news stories coming out of Poland.
Oh my god, that's good. That's good. Holy shit, good news coming out of Poland. Who'd have thunk it?
Is that all the comrades from Poznan who were put on trial for an act of civil disobedience trying to stop a van that was broadcasting queer-phobic garbage have been acquitted.
Sick.
Thus, on January the 10th, the Provincial Administrative Court in Kraków annulled the discriminatory anti-LGBT resolutions of the Lipniki Commune Council and the Tarnów County Council. Activists explain these resolutions violate constitutional principles of equal treatment and non-discrimination. The court...
Wait, did he just say Portland?
...stated that these resolutions were invalid and contain aggressive, stigmatizing language. The decisions are not final since they can be appealed against to the Supreme Administrative Court, but activists are celebrating their success over these outcomes nonetheless.
Let's fucking go.
Gratulujemy.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Is Sophie gonna be in this month's positive leftist news?
Felicidades en polaco. Trans activists gathered outside the BBC offices in London to protest the new...
It's Sophie and Nat! Ah! Fuck! Let's fucking go!
Organizations widely discriminatory coverage of trans topics. More than a dozen speakers addressed a crowd of trans people and allies outside the BBC's London headquarters, protesting against the broadcaster's agenda of hate and discrimination. One of the speakers was YouTube trans icon and good friend of the show, Sophia McAllister.
Yeah,
Sophie,
let's go!
Speech is up on their YouTube channel, Sophie from Mars, for those who would like to see it in full.
Go drop follow Soap from Mars, go subscribe Soap from Mars, there you fucking go. As if you don't hear it enough on my channel.
Speakers at the protest condemned the lack of trans voices and perspectives in British media. They explained that when media outlets publish stories that sensationalize rather than humanize trans people, they eclipse conversations about the urgent structural problems facing the trans community. Speakers also noted that such stories
also write a complaint to the BBC. Yeah, that's right.
And queer joy. The media is trying to tell you that every speck of the UK is like this. They are lying to you, said Shaira Chowdhury, a South Asian Muslim woman who described the wonderful queer and trans people of color they have met since coming out. Look around and see the trans joy, they continued. For every mindless article and bigoted opinion they churn out, there are thousands of trans voices. Our expression, our art, our words. Don't let them tell our narratives for us. Demonstrations against BBC transphobia took place in several UK cities at the end of last year, including Bristol, Brighton and Cardiff.
Alright, not mentioning Manchester again, you little dickhead. Not mentioning Manchester again, because you thought it was fucking New Manchester before. I was fucking there!
A solidarity protest was also held in Manchester on
oh, there we go!
January 8th. With protests gaining momentum.
All right, I'll let you off. I'll let you off.
Hopefully progress can be made for trans representation in the UK. As Lyin Simpson, a trans illustrator and community organizer from Oxford, said in their speech, if they will not give us a platform, we must make one. We must organize. We must advocate for ourselves. And we must not lose hope.
Fuck yeah.
For British...
Yeah, that's the, it's the most thingy, most coverage this protest got, yeah. Retraction for you little dickhead when? I'll retract it now, DJ. Yeah, retract that statement in full. Thank you, Javi. Appreciate you. This is huge. This is huge news, this.
Black Lives Matter activists who were accused of taking down a statue of a slave trader in Bristol were found not guilty of criminal damage in a huge win for the right to protest via property destruction in the UK. Priam Graham, Milo Ponsford, Jake Success and Sage Willoughby were accused of criminal damage for a June 2020 action in which they and others knocked over a statue of slave trader Edward Colston and threw it in the harbour.
Yeah.
Videos of the statue falling into the water were widely shared, garnering millions of views online. According to David Olusoga, a prominent historian who testified in the trial in December, Colston was a chief executive officer of the Royal African Company, a company he claims is responsible for enslaving the most Africans of any company in the entire history of the Atlantic slave trade.
Also, worth mentioning that I think as a result of this, we are now going to see more and more people at protests like this wearing their face masks to prevent COVID. You know? Very good. Very good. You were surprised but very pleased by that. Yeah, same. Yeah, it's fucking great.
During the two-week trial, the defense argued that the statue of Colston, erected in 1895, was inappropriate, offensive, and unwanted by thousands of petitioners. The defendants never denied their involvement.
Yeah, and don't fucking film people doing shit like this. Holy shit.
But said their actions were justified due to the offensive nature of the statue, arguing it was akin to an indecent display or a hate crime. Liam Walker, QC, who represented 22-year-old Willoughby, said, Colston's deeds may be historical, but the continued veneration of him in this city was not. The continued veneration of him in a vibrant multicultural city was an act of abuse. According to Sky News, the public gallery broke out in cheers after the not guilty verdict was read out. On January 15th, counter-protesters in Brighton, England, successfully sabotaged an anti-abortion demo standing up for body autonomy, healthcare access, and women's rights. Their counter-protest was so effective that the
fucking plop. That's right. Plop.
Anti-abortion demonstrations gave in and left. This is how we respond. Show up and never let oppressive politics go unopposed. In Chile, after 6 months of work,
yeah, I didn't know about the Brighton protest. Yeah, that's fucking great.
The convention assembled to rewrite the Pinochet-era constitution had to choose a new president and vice president, plus a new directive committee for another 5 elected constitutionals.
It just doesn't sound right. Like an anti-abortion protest in England? Really? Really? I mean, of course, like, I'm not invalidating the experiences of women everywhere. Of course, you know, lots of women in the UK experience misogyny as well, you know, as elsewhere in the world. But it's like, really? Anti-abortion groups in England? It just seems like such a foreign or faraway concept. Like, we really are getting infected with the American right-wing brainworms, you know?
As per first election, the right got only 1 of the 5 seats. The new president of the Constitutional Assembly is Maria Elisa Quintero.
In Glasgow, they have like a yearly anti-abortion walk. Yeah, that's bizarre. The anti-abortion fuckers have all been G'd on by the turfery. Of course they have, yeah. Of course they fucking have. Yeah, high fructose brainworms, honestly. Holy fucking shit. Yeah. Yes, that's right. You can watch our show, Red Planet. I was about to say my show. It's not my show, it's our show. You can watch our show, Red Planet, episode 4, for advice about protesting safely. That's right. It's been over a decade since I saw an anti-abortion protest here locally. Yeah, surprisingly, the last anti-abortion protest I heard of in Manchester, one of my friends, who's a trans woman, showed up there and just like ripped all the signs up and shit all on her own. It was fucking great. And yeah, they've not been back for a long time. I can't even remember how long ago that was. Fucking hell. 2016 or something? 2017? Yeah.
An odontologist who has been working with an alliance of feminists, ecologists, direct democracy activists, and other territorial organizations called the Popular Assembly for Dignity, Asamblea Popular por la Dignidad. The vice president is Gaspar Dominguez, a rural doctor who represents one of the most isolated places of the south of Chile. He has been fighting for LGBTQ rights, as well as new improved and universal healthcare system to be available throughout the entire territory. In the directive committee, there are also 2 indigenous representatives, including Lidia Gonzalez and one of the last Yagan people in the south.
Holy shit.
Chileans continue to stonewall the right wing in the process to redraft the constitution to better reflect the needs of the people.
Sick.
Hopefully the new constitution will make Allende proud.
This is so fucking
California,
sick.
From October to December.
Seeing the US and the UK's takes on the recent elections of Chile have been infuriating. Yeah, I've purposefully not paid attention to that shit. Seems so horrific.
Last year, endangered coho salmon have been able to reach all spawning grounds. We've seen fish in places that there haven't been for almost 25 years, said Preston Brown, the director of watershed conservation for the Salmon Protection and Watershed Network.
Nice.
Some fish have been spotted a mile upstream from where the San Jeronimo Creek have been dammed until little more than a year ago. They like these really tiny small streams, and that's where their survival is the highest, said Todd Strainer, executive director of Tory Lyin Restoration Network. If we give the fish a fighting chance at survival, they will come back. Comrades, if you have good news from the current month, please send your stories to totalliberationpodcast@gmail.com.
There you go.
Today I contributed with the positive news jams, that's my thing, and by talking to you. Thank you to Halicon for the positive news background, and thank you to Nick, Catherine, and Mexi, and Ash for script writing, and thank you to James for editing this video. We're hoping to expand our team and therefore our Patreon, so if you'd like to support the show, please go to patreon.com/positiveleftistnews, or you can give us a one-time tip or donation. The link is in the
Let's
description.
fucking go. There's someone there in the fucking thank yous called King Clit. That's the best name I've ever seen.
Hello. Solidaridad.
Nice. Nice. We fucking love positive leftist news. How good was that, gang? How fucking good was that? Well. Good that, wasn't it? Good that, wasn't it? We're going to keep up the positive shit. And we are now gonna check out. Let's have a little look here. Let's have a little fucking look. Yeah, fuck it. I really want to watch this video on Snoop Lyin pretending to be a fucking Rasta. I've been watching Foreign Man in a Foreign Land every now and then. No, come on, dude. Well, I've been on the cross trainer at the gym, but I'm only on the cross trainer for about like 5 or 6 minutes or something like that. So, yeah, we're gonna watch this now together. But before I do, I'm just gonna go and stretch my legs. I'm gonna get another cup of tea, and I'm gonna use the toilet. So, gang, use this opportunity to do so yourself. I'm gonna stick some music on, and yeah, I'll be back in about 2 minutes or so. I should really have like a fucking be right back thing. I used to have a be right back screen, but there were some clips in it that had like jump scares in it and stuff. I didn't want to give anyone a fucking heart attack. Hang on. There's like another. Is it that? No. What about that? Not guest cam. Guest one. Be right back in it. There you go, that'll do. Just have that like that. Alright. See you in a sec. Oh. Right. I'm back. Fucking hell. Twitch on mobile is an absolute fuck. That's true, yeah, that's very true. An absolute fuck. How do I put this? Snoop, Lyin, more like Snoop, Lyin. There we go. Check that out. Title of the stream. Foreign man in a foreign land. Snoop's also doing NFTs? You're kidding me. All right. That's enough of that. That is enough of that. Snoop Dogg's doing Snoop Dogg NFT. Snoop Dogg has launched a new non-fungible token series comprising of both audio and video elements that has been put up for auction on the Super Rare marketplace. So here's the thing, right? I saw a tweet the other day. Let's try and find it. Here's why all these celebrities, how do you, is that celebrities? Is that not right? Celebrities. Oh, it's itties, right? Itties are promoting NFTs. Yes, that's exactly what it is. They are essentially trying to get people, they're trying to get more marks to buy NFTs, right? So that then they can pay out, because you cannot take money out of the crypto system without a bunch of money going in or something like that. So they have to have a bunch of pumped in money so they could dump their currency and exchange it for real world currency, right? But for fiat currency, let's say. I wonder if Polygon talks about it. Why this is buying Bored Ape NFTs. Chris bought an NFT. What is an NFT? So you're saying I can steal Jimmy Fallon's Bored Ape by downloading a JPEG? They cannot afford them. Because they can afford them, scarcity speculation tends to attract a certain kind of buyer, the profile of that buyer. Yeah, they can't sell if no one's buying, basically. That's right, yeah. That's what it is. Much like any hype commodity, NFTs that perceive being valuable become a status symbol. Yeah, I don't know if it's that. I really don't know if it's that. I think they're just trying to make a bunch of money on it. You know? Yeah. Also, I watched the Cavernacles video this week about how the Bored Ape Yacht Club was probably created by Nazis on 4chan. If you look at the comparison of Bored Ape Yacht Club logo and SS logo. Yeah, right there. Right there. It's so similar. It's honestly so fucking similar. You know what I mean? It's just like, really? Even down to the amount of teeth? I think this is correct. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Yeah, 18 teeth on it. And 18 is supposed to be 1 for the first letter of the alphabet, A for Adolf, and 8 for the 8th letter, which is H for Hitler. So even down to that, it's correct. Like, it can't be like... This can't be a fucking coincidence, man. Do you know what I mean? Look at it. It's so ridiculously obvious. Fucking hell, man. It's like one or two things could be a coincidence, but when you have a few and you're using a username that is a niche Nazi reference, you're probably a Nazi. Right, it's that Yuga, what is it, Kali Yuga thing? That's the guy who came up with it. He had like a name that was something like Kali Yuga, which is something to do with like surfing Nazis or some shit. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, it's messed up, but entirely unsurprising. Yes, correct. Right. Thank you for the follow. I'm excited to check out Foreign Man in a Foreign Lands video. Let's give it a go. Here we go.
I'm around the corner in my roller skates. Yeah. Smoking a chalice. When to take.
See now. This is the thing, yeah. This is the thing. Whenever I used to listen, when I listened to Snoop Lyin's tune, I listened to a lot of reggae, right? So for those of you that don't know, I got my name, my Twitch name, djmuel, because I used to be a DJ, and I used to be mad into reggae, dubstep, drum and bass, right? And reggae and drum and bass have a lot of crossover. And so on my downtime, when I wasn't out raving, I would listen to a lot of reggae. And I'm talking like deep, fucking digging in your crates kind of reggae, you know, not just like your Bob Marley fucking, you know, Gregory Isaacs stuff. I'm talking about like the fucking Paragons, Jesus, like so many, fucking honestly, like Dennis Brown is one of my fucking huge favorites and shit like that. Barrington Levy, really big fan of reggae. And I used to know a guy who was part of the record label Blood and Fire, and he was a DJ for Blood and Fire, and he would go to Jamaica all the time and shit like that, and you know, come back with enough weed and dub plates and shit like that, right? And one of the things that I knew, right, one of the things that I knew as soon as I listened to Snoop Lyin's music was, yo, this sounds a lot like you know, bad reggae. Like someone who has no idea about reggae decided to make a reggae tune, you know, just really bad shit. Hey, Super Sweet Boy, how you doing? I remember a weird-ass B-movie about surfing Nazis. Yeah, it's called Surf Nazis Must Die. It's literally one of my favorite movies of all time. It's so good. I wouldn't even say it's a comedy. JMM says it's a comedy, but I wouldn't even say it's a comedy. I'd say it's actually like a phenomenal B-movie. It's one of the best B-movies I've ever watched. It's got a great story. You know, it's fucking great. Oh, yeah, sure, I'll watch. Oh, are you kidding? I'll watch fucking Surf Nazis Must Die anytime on a movie night. Yeah. If we get to 300 quid this month, we got 60 quid to go. 60 quid to go, and we'll watch Surf Nazis Must Die. It does have its comedy element in there. I don't remember laughing a whole lot at Surf Nazis Must Die, honestly, and I've seen it a few times. I've seen it a few times. Maybe in like the after the second act, maybe, but like the first act is pretty like it's pretty hard. It goes pretty hard. Do you know what I mean? Like not very funny. Okay, so let's check this out.
The darker the night, the darker the day. Rastafari, the only way. Yeah.
Don't worry about it, Kiri. That's okay.
Yeah, man. Sugar.
Let's see how these captions, these auto captions, do with Foreign Man in a Foreign Land.
Lord.
Oh, you know what? He's probably got his own captions in it.
Lord. Lord. Oh, Lord.
He's also absolutely fucking hench, this guy.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. You all running out. My big man them, woman them, and non-binary folk them. 100 years of skullduggery.
100 years of skullduggery.
Because he can't get hard to the brown M&Ms no more. I was being mortified. This is a tale of loss, a dirge of death, a story of skullduggery that tangentially, not even tangentially, directly correlates to Snoop Lyin. It's no secret that I train BJJ, and a great deal of people I spar with moonlight as the clan's private escort service. And I like to think that these people that I share some of my most intimate moments with are good people. But from time to time, I get a glimpse of something that just feel anti-block. Like, you ever encounter something that you know is not racist, but it feel racist? Like snow, meat?
Okay, I'm glad he's saying it because I was about to say this before. But it's not for me to say as a white guy, innit? Do you know what I mean? That a black guy is being like, you know, pretty cringe about, like, you know, black identities. You know what I mean? It's not for me to say, but I'm glad he said it.
30s, you know, in good shape. First day doing BJJ. And I just walking in from the torrential tundra going on outside. So naturally, I pair up with him so I could run him through the drills, you know, because I'm the welcome wagon. And there's something beautiful about BJJ, you know. There's something particularly beautiful because, you know, I always say you can't be racist when you're chest to chest with people of color. How you gonna hate me and I between your legs? I mean, well, ask the sorority gals that was posting up block squares for Floyd and could juice us behind closed doors. But if you dare to say hi to them when they sisters run, they could do you like Honey Rider did Coral.
Come and take a look. That's all right. He's with me.
Bet your bottom dollar that I bring in this box is way too good to only show you all once. Go to the next bar like Talib Kweli. What I was talking about. Oh yeah, this. So I doing standing drills with Todd, right? Which is essentially doing throws like this.
And this is Z, the judo aficionado, and he's about to show you how to do an Uchimata.
But I ain't even throwing Todd. We just dancing. A slow, steady minuet in 3/4, but with the intentions of throwing him into the floor. And I noticed that Todd is tremendously tense. Like, I talking as tense as your date when you bring it to the crib for the first time and they scared to take their shoes off. I say,
yeah.
We ain't fighting, you know. We just drilling. You ain't gotta, you ain't gotta tense up like that. And this man would go on to let out the most pregnant breath that he ever had. You know, like he gave birth to triplets of breath. So I thought that was his sign of saying that things could change up, right? But my boy going right back to clenching his butt cheeks when we start drilling again. I say, damn, Todd, you must have been to Vietnam. You got to run. That man just calm it down. Todd was acting sketchier than a car from Craigslist. Todd come like he knew what I did last summer. Todd come like I was 50 and he was anybody, because nobody safe around 50 Cent. And my naive Negro over here trying to figure out what happened to Todd. Everyone else that I have been partnered up with enjoys my enthusiastic approach to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Hence why my sensei continues to put me with the new people so that I could bring them into the sport. But this guy was having the hardest of times with me. Listen, watch this. We was doing drills where we literally had to mount each other. And explaining this out loud, as a cishet black man, you know, there really ain't no way of defending it. Top mount is a position in BJJ and MMA where you are literally straddling the person that you are fighting.
Yeah, BJJ is the gayest fucking sport, and that's it. That's it. It's the most effective martial art, but it is literally the gayest. The gayest. By the way, everybody get this video in your browser, get it playing alongside the stream as we're watching it, give Foreign Man in a Foreign Land some more views, and yeah.
Please don't ask for no
It's called BBJ because of where it leads to.
pictorial depictions of this because I get flagged by YouTube quicker than if I say croc. So I explained to this
I raise you Turkish oil wrestling as the gayest MA. Okay, alright, yeah, you know what? Yes, it is. It's not the most popular, because it's not that effective. Like, you're very rarely going to be involved with a bunch of, you know, a bunch of guys all oiled up and that, where you got to wrestle them seriously in the street. But yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. All right, Dave, thank you so much for being here, pal. Take it easy.
That I am about to get on top of you, and I apologize in advance for the wait. He gnawed his head, right? Then he proceeds to take the deepest breath. Like, I swear, this man must he learn all this from Lamar's classes. He take the deepest breath. And I proceed to throw my leg over him to mount, right? Tell me why this man buck me off like we in a Ross Clark rodeo. I say, Todd.
Ross Clark.
Todd, we ain't fighting. I'm not trying to hurt you, Todd. Todd says reflex. And I say, well, your reflex about to send me out the window like Mr. Incredible. I look at my sensei, right? I look at him on the slide. This man over here kikiing. He giggling up himself because he knows that this is a part of the discipline. Being able to teach what you know. You transcend your knowledge of the sport when you are able to articulate it in a way that others, far different from you even, can appreciate and gain knowledge and understanding of it. So my sensei on his master splinter, right? He looking at me like, yeah, you gotta deal with rowdy rebels because I had to deal with rowdy rebels, you know? You was a blue belt, so now you gotta learn how to do this. So I switch up the flow on Todd, right? And I did some small talk, you know? I ain't going, you know, sometimes you just have to ease yourself in. You can't just, you know, go balls in the wall, no lube, just, you know, go. You have to ease it in a little bit.
Yeah, he says he's cishet, but he knows an awful lot about easing it in.
Something, my soldier, guess what? Todd starts self-reporting all time.
Although I get, you know what? No, that's something you can do as a cishet guy. Okay, yeah. I sometimes forget that anal isn't the providence of gays. Yeah.
Things. Todd starts saying some things. I asked Todd, you know, I say, where you from? I asked Todd, you know, how the wife and kids and all that, right? And then I asked Todd, what do you do for work? And then he say he's work for the city. I say, the garbage man is work for the city, Todd. What do you do for the city? And he say, oh, you know, keeping the peace.
Nah, come on, bro. No way. He's fucking shitting me. Of course, a white guy who's a cop doesn't want a black guy on top of him in any scenario. Of course.
Say eyes keep the place safe. I thinking that Todd must see a firefighter, because that's what I always think about when I think about keeping the place safe. My sensei, who is blocked, by the way, he come and he say, you do know that Todd is a cop, right?
I began to pass out. Then my head hit the wall.
That ain't a big deal, you know. I train with ex-military, current Marines, you know, law enforcement, trumpets, and I don't encounter many issues. They part right-wing propaganda on COVID, and I make them tap dance like Jackson. It all works out. But this was something totally different. Because all of a sudden, I think I figured out why he may have been behaving this way. The reason behind this physically diamond-hard response to my touch. Why this man was tensing up himself just from seeing me. Because it is not because I came through the door looking like Blade's son, pocket knife, because I was dressed a certain way because it was
pocket knife.
Call it in a witch tent outside, but because of something totally different that I may have overlooked. Todd's experience with people that look like me may be vastly different than what I gave him. He's a cop. And let's be real, let's be frank. You know, the origins and the current iteration of cops and policing in general is abysmal. But you all know I like to meet people where they're at, you know. You all know I like to be in the gray. And, you know, I've rolled with trumpets, I've rolled with law enforcement, and there's only really one thing that I've noticed, you know. Some of these people are irrevocably broken, for sure. There was a point in life, in their infantry or something else, where something just broke in them. And that was their flashpoint. That was their proverbial fork in the road. The fork that on one side allowed for redemption and the ability to fight and combat the skullduggery that happened to them. Or the next side that steals them in their skullduggery and makes them obdurate in their dogma. I've struggled for a long time with trying to figure out what to do with people whose beliefs directly contradict my very existence. And I've come to the conclusion that I must do absolutely nothing because it doesn't have anything to do with me. They will never experience life the way I do. And when I tell them, they will never be able to understand it the way I do. They will filter my experience through their lens. And given that we're all just our accumulated biases,
you could see this, what he's talking about, in the show that Hassan and Keffels watched called Black Dot White, where they literally blacked up a white family and whited up a black family in it, right? Bruno, the dad of the white family, when he, you know, went out in his experience as a black person, right? Only saw the experience of a black person through his lens. So when it came to discussing racism with the black family afterwards, they were like living in a house together and stuff. It's super crazy. The documentary series is fucking crazy. And yeah, well, you'll know then, Quill, the way that Bruno speaks to, I forget the name of the black guy, because Bruno is just like such a fucking horrific character. Like that's the only name that stuck in my head from the series. I don't even remember the name of anyone else, literally anyone else. But like he's speaking to the dad of the black family, and he says, just get over it, bro. Just deal with it, bro. Like, don't let it get to you, man. Like, what? You know? Something we don't talk about, Bruno. Yeah, right. He literally just says shit like that. Yeah, so you can see that happen in real time. So, you know, what Foreign's saying here is absolutely spot on, obviously. But just in case you weren't gonna take Foreign at his word, you can watch it happen in real time. In real time.
They will take a biased take on my biases. That has everything to do with them. Everything to do with their experiences.
Like, because, so yeah, here it is, right? Imagine you're a white person, yeah, and you're like LARPing as a black guy, right? And you go out and you don't experience like the racism that you hear of all the time because you're like on a show, innit? Do you know what I mean? You're on a show. This guy was on a show. So they're not gonna let anything horrible actually happen to him. You know what I mean? There's gonna be TV crews going around with him all the time and shit like that. And he experiences like maybe like a minor amount of racism. And of course, he knows that he can just come out. He steps out of that black skin at the end of the day when he takes his makeup off, right? So to him, it's not this thing he can't escape still. He even though he's been given an opportunity to, you know, see life as a black person, and, you know, I say that they were blacked up in this documentary. They were absolutely like fucking really, like, it won awards for makeup. It was that convincing. You know what I mean? It was absolutely absurd. But like, even though he's been given that unique opportunity to experience life as a black person, he still didn't get it because he's an older guy. He can't fucking take his whiteness. He can't take his privilege out of the conversation, which is his bias, right? You know what I mean? Your privilege gives you bias. You've been watching who's that? Jarvis Johnson and Jordan Aker watch it. Two people, Jarvis and Jordan, are black. They have the experience to talk about this show. Yeah, for sure. Let's check that. I just want to check this video. Hold up.
What up, game?
Oh, I don't know who these are. I've never seen these guys. Yeah, I'm about to follow these. Getting subbed, yeah, sub to that channel, gang. If Quill's a fan, that normally means it's pretty good. Yeah, all over it. What up, gay? What up, gay?
And their insecurities, which is such a liberating experience and understanding to have, because...
Wait, what's this? I saw the most amazing movie of a group of men talking about race in a therapy situation. I saw it in a class about oppression. It was so exceptional. I wonder if there's a way I could get it from the school to stream it someday. Wait, it wasn't that late. Was it that lady, that old white lady that does it? Jordan and Jarvis are nice? Okay, sweet. It
allows me to be free of feeling personally attacked by their beliefs. It allows me to engage with their experience from a completely neutral point, rather than what I would do, which was approach it from being a combative or defensive one. So I sat with the way that Todd and I interacted that day. And
yeah, what's her name, Vod? Yeah, the old white lady who does the experiment with eye colors. Yeah, what's her name?
Mortified. I was like, damn. You know, Todd probably done all over himself like Caitlyn Bennett. I wish I did more to address that. You know, I wish I did more to accommodate him. I know I don't have to, but I want to. Because I want for anybody to be able to enjoy the sport that has given me so much. And I would hate to know that my interaction with him might have prevented him from doing so. So a week passed and no Todd.
Yeah, show it me, my pirate, yeah. Wait, he went... the guy didn't come back to class for a week? He got like... Oh, Jane Elliott is her name. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Fishy. Yeah, that's right. Jane Elliott. Yeah, Jane Elliott's got some good videos on it, yeah. Well, she does some good classes on it. Oh, man. This guy has gone to a class and is so racist that he, like, sparred with a black guy the first time and didn't come back for a week. And, you know, this is like a red-blooded cop, right, from America, who is obviously going to be into BJJ because definitely listens to Joe Rogan, you know?
And I felt so despondent about that because I was just like, damn, you know, he might never come back. I began to even tell my sensei, I was like, you know, you might consider probably partnering up someone else with the other newcomers, because I was beginning to doubt my own ability to be an ambassador to this sport, a sport that I love, a sport that has literally made me sane enough to sit here and talk to you today. But all in an instance, you should have seen my eye. It glint up like when I see food. The door opened, and there was Todd. I was never, and may never, ever be happier to see another man again. I shout across the room to him, right? I was like, Todd, hard go, daddy. Everything good? And this man looked like he just saw a deer in headlights. I told him I was so happy that he came back, and we partnered up again. So I took a different approach with him, after which he warmed up a little bit. He started to let loose, you know? And after practice, I was thinking to myself, I was like, hey, I got a new friend. This is great. Until Todd say some skullduggery like this, Lord, you know, hey, bud, me and the missus are going to Nassau in the Christmas. Would love to take you on the boat and show you how to fish. Todd, you see
We're going to Nassau. Fucking hell, are you serious, bro? Are you serious?
The same man. Todd.
Bro.
How you come into my country? Tell me that you could teach me how to fish. And you could take me on the boat. I should be taking you on the boat. I should be taking you to fish fry, Todd. Not the next way around, Todd. The utter caucasity. And listen, I know he thought he was being hospitable, right? But you gotta be in your own home to be hospitable. Hospitable? You ain't home, Todd. You at...
Yeah, he's from the Bahamas, yeah.
You at Bahama. You at Atlantis. You are not home. How you could come to someone else's country and assume that you could show them things that they can't show you? The facial muscles I had to suppress in order to not resemble Popeye with his screw-up face. You can't even pronounce Nassau right, but you want to show me things about Nassau. But it ain't Todd's fault.
Oh, is that how you say it? Nassau.
You know,
I've always said Nassau.
Of many people, on average they're American, but many people that come to my country with similar attitudes. Tourists that forget that this is a country with a full functional government, you know, a ferry and a mailboat system that takes us hither and thither, families that literally call this island home, yet you still think that I never fish. You still think that I never been on a boat. You think that I ain't got a boat, which I don't. But I mean, damn, you shouldn't assume that. The caucasity isn't the only driving factor that, you know, gives Americans and the like a gall to come to the Caribbean and act in such a manner. Because as we will see, Snoop Lyin did something rather similar.
We want to bless you with some California herbs that we have.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. No way did he do this. This is so cringe. Snoop Dogg went to see some Rastas in Jamaica and was like, I'm gonna bless you with some Californian herb. Fuck right off, bro. No way.
Yeah.
This man bring weed to Jamaica. You might as well have brought some sand for the beach too, Snoop. Let me give you some context. Bunny Wailer is Bob Marley's contemporary.
He gave it to Bunny Wailer. Shut up.
Bob Marley and the Wailers.
Bunny Wailer, yeah, of the Wailers, innit?
You ever watch this video I do up here where I basically was talking about why Bob Marley became the frontman? Because of his marketability, which was very closely directed to his skin. Despite Bunny Wailer and Peter Tosh in particular being very competent frontmen, and especially coming from that group, however, they just didn't choose them for some strange reason. That's very obvious. Anyway, that's my polemic take of the day. So Snoop Lyin, right? He comes to the great Bunny Wailer's house and asks him if he would like some Cali weed. And just like Todd, I think that Snoop Lyin was just trying to be hospitable, right? He just trying to get, when you bring rum to someone's house when you come to their house, that's what you think he doing, right? I understand, this ain't a hit piece on Snoop Dogg, at least yet. People aren't all malefactors, They're just about half, sometimes 75% malefactor. But the bigotry and skullduggery that I encounter is typically 90% unintentional. I rarely get people coming to me with skullduggery with the intentions of hurting me. At least I don't think so. And if they actually do plan on hurting me, then they're very, very good at acting like they don't. That is not to say that it does not exist. One of the privileges of being a big black man with a beard that I have is being a big black man with a beard. Just because I'm black doesn't negate the fact that I have size and stature that kind of sets the tone. I have never been in a fight that I haven't agreed upon. And that could be attributed to a medley of things, but it's typically because I don't think that most people, when they see me, would want to fight me. So a great deal of the skullduggery is moments like these. Someone assuming that I smoke weed because of my Caribbean heritage. Or someone feeling like their weed is superior to Jamaica's weed.
It's only okay to assume that someone smokes weed if they're Dutch. That's the only time. That's the only time. Holland is a weed country. The state of the Netherlands. It's founded on weed. The entire ground is made of weed. Their language was made by people who smoke weed. That's the only time it's fine.
Because they're from America. In particular, Cali in this case. Thus, you feel like you are blessing the literal lord of reggae with your Californian weed. Which is why I desperately need you to understand Rastafari before I go any further. 10 million enslaved Africans thrown hither and thither between the 16th and the 19th century, rendered from the safety of their own domicile and thrown very callously into a boat where they are put and arranged head to toe with other Africans sailing somewhere near Atlantic to atrocities unknown. This is the reality of the Atlantic slave trade, where 700,000 of those slaves settled in the British colony known today as Jamaica. And despite the abolition of slavery in Jamaica around 1834, I believe, prejudice based on race still endured, giving rise to Rastafari. Marcus Garvey lent a lot of framework to the movement, Garvey being one of the most pivotal political figures in all of history, not black, not Caribbean, in all of history. The founder and first president of the Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League, as well as the provisional president of Africa, as pretentious and grandiose as that sounds. If anybody deserved it, it would be Garvey. His insights to Pan-Africanism were paramount and very novel, and it was essential to the identity of Pan-Africanism as it stands. And Rastafari encompassed a lot of this rhetoric and theory. The religion is also greatly influenced by Christianity, with just a dash, just a Salt Bay dash of mythology in it. But most of all, Ethiopianism is front and center stage in Rastafari. It channeled this idea that Garvey and even Malcolm X held of black nationalism, which is vastly different than white nationalism.
Yeah, 100%. We all know. We've all heard that fucking argument before, and those arguments, in bad faith, only come from the most disgusting people. Yes, black nationalism is vastly different than white nationalism. Holy fucking shit, it's not that hard.
Don't rump with me today. I know them ponytail looking fellas probably inside the comments or they watch. Don't rump with me today. You know, it cold. But I still hot. I was clamoring for the black diaspora to return to Africa.
Ponytail looking fellas. He's right. He's right.
Things of African tradition and pride began to proliferate the entire community. And at the forefront of this, Ethiopia was considered to be the embodiment of Africa. This is all one side of a two-sided coin that is the black solution to the racial divide in the Western world. Garvey represented the black separatist movement alongside people like Malcolm X, which is different from W.E. Du Bois as well as Martin Luther King Jr., who advocated for more of an inclusive approach to the racial divide. But Garveyism waned as the Great Depression of the 30s grew, which encouraged black people to shelve their racial resentments in an effort to simply survive, even if it wasn't harmonious. But Garvey remained hopeful, not even hopeful, he remained obdurate, he remained steeled, he remained sure that there was a black messiah or a king, if you will, on the horizon. This was articulated in Garvey's play, Coronation of an African King, where...
Hey, good morning. How you doing? They invented white nationalism to try and mimic the legitimacy of black nationalism. Oh, I didn't know that. That's why the talking points are a hollow reflection of black nationalist concepts. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Holy shit, I didn't actually know that white nationalism was invented to try and mimic that. Wow. My pirate says, got a small summary of the film for you. Could try posting a link if you still want. Yeah, drop it in the chat, friend. Thank you.
Prince Kujo of Sudan was crowned, which brings us to a very tricky juncture. And the reason why people laud Garvey in particular as a prophet. Later that very year, Haile Selassie was crowned, making it...
Okay, not Elise. He's pronouncing it Haile. In Jamaica, they pronounce it Haile. Haile Selassie, or not Haile Selassie. Who was the king of Ethiopia, I think.
Seemed like Garvey knew it was coming all along, and everything was irie.
Or was it? Wait, was it Sudan? He said. I think it might have been Ethiopia. Not sure.
Garvey was supposed to be this new prophet, until Rastafari and Garveyism had a dramatic fracture. Garvey didn't like what the Rastafarians would do. Garvey didn't like where Rastafari was even going. He even went as far to call Haile Selassie a coward who rules a country where black men are chained and flogged in reference to Ethiopia. This ushered a new era for not only Ethiopianism, but Rastafari itself. The first sovereign monarch of sub-Saharan Africa since the 1800s. Selassie came in 1930 and Rastafarians saw him to be the black messiah. They treated this man like he was the second coming of Jesus. Selassie's crowning was a sign of hope in a time of despair.
There it is. Mr. Fishy got it there. Yeah, the real spelling is in chat. Haile Selassie as Selassie.
That came with the Great Depression. It signified the new, some would say the true, beginning of Rastafari. The first beginning would be Howell. Howell, who would be soon arrested for sedition very early on. I mean, this boy barely even got his foot out the gate before he get arrested for sedition. And that is because Howell was messy off that yak. Howell was low-key, I hope I don't get cancelled for this, but Howard was low-key spitting some things that sound very Hitlerian. Very, Aryan. He was literally saying that black Africans were the superior race. And I can't get jiggy to that. Howell come like, the DJ start playing Full of Hell after he just started listening to Movado. Like, what we doing? We moshing or we muggling in a dance? He come like that boy who had everyone rooting for him. Until
this is not about George Floyd. Come in every color. Come in every race.
Oh man.
Howell was mentally ill.
I have never seen that video before. Holy fucking shit. That legit thing that happened? I absolutely hate every single second of that. Oh my God.
And he was eventually committed. But before that even happened, Ethiopia get invaded by Italy. And Selassie I had to get exiled. It wasn't until the early 1940s, I believe, that Selassie I got back to his throne, which the Rastas then took to be the fulfillment of the prophecy as evinced by Book of Revelations. It's like all of these things just happened to happen, and the Rastafarians, they was just like, yeah, I read that in Book of yeah, Dre. This brings us to the 1950s when Rastafari gained a lot of momentum, but just as many enemies. Rastafari was always at odds with the establishment. That's because the Rastas saw things like government and police and class to all be weapons.
Fuck yeah.
Babylon. These are some of the
Based
political parts of
Rastafarianism.
Rastafari, which are very punk in its aesthetic. It reeked of the ethos that
and that's why there was such a sort of connection or mixing, if you will, of punks and sort of like there was punks and reggae fans in the UK around the 70s and the 80s, and they came together. That's right, yeah, Brixton 1974, so much because the values that they both shared, it just made sense. It just made absolute sense. And that's why you started to see like the real skinheads against hatred, skinheads against racial prejudice, and then like, black people who were listening to reggae, doing DJs, sound systems and stuff like that. Really, really sort of like fucking... It was a huge thing. It was a huge fucking thing. There's a bunch of like films that you can watch about it. There's a film that I watched ages ago. Jesus, what was it called? Oh my God, what was it called? I've completely forgotten what the fuck it's called. But it's about a bunch of black guys in Brixton in the 70s or the 80s. It might be the late 70s and 80s. They got a sound system, and the main guy, he like has probably gets kicked out of his house, or he leaves his house, and they have a bunch of problems with racism and stuff like that. There's a load of really good films about that era that are pretty fucking good. What the fuck is it called? I'm so mad that I've forgotten what it is, because it's a great film.
Did. And the establishment knew this, so they immediately had an antagonistic relationship with Rastafari. Many Rastas were arrested on the grounds of marijuana, but really, we know why they was getting arrested. It's the same reason that the FBI... Anyway, you know what? Let me not even talk about that, I ain't trying to get... A stigma-stained Rastafari to be something associated with the low class. Thus, the upper echelon and the elitists boo-booed it. Or boo-hooed it, I don't know what you all say. How you all say it? This antagonism and years of refusal resulted in a militant branch of Rastafari being born. The House of Youth, Black Faith, which aimed to defend practitioners of the faith until something truly disgusting happened at the hand of the youth. A woman was killed in 1957, and it was alleged that the black youth were responsible for it, marking the most turbulent time for Rastas in JA. The militia tried to seize the whole city in the name of Selassie I, but ultimately it failed, as well as their other attempt that they did later, which also failed. All of this lent a very bad image to Rastafari. Rastas shortly thereafter became persona non grata in JA. So incoming, this self-proclaimed prophet called Claudius Henry. He basically was telling these Rastas who already marginalized in their society that, listen, I could bring you all to Africa like you all always wanted to. Here's a ticket I'm selling. And he sold tickets to a pilgrimage back to Africa to thousands of Rastas. And all of these Jamaicans and then getting ready to get on this boat thinking that they going to Liberia or something. And they were so happy because, they had it hard. It was hard in JA for a Rasta. Come to find out, there wasn't no ship. Klaus, whatever his name is, he done bamboozle everybody.
Fucking hell.
Run amok. It's like the Rastas them couldn't get a break. I ain't gonna lie. I feel bad for the Rastas them. I ain't gonna lie. Till Selassie I visit Jamaica in 66. 1960s, Lord, them Rasta was running mad. It breathed new life into the entire movement. You then got like the Rasta Voice, the newspaper. They was building an establishment. It seemed like things was looking good for Rastafari. Even members from, the upper echelon, not just, the lowly, Buffalo Soldiers and them. You had people from, the higher ranks getting involved in Rastafari, membership from across the class stratification. And after the deaths of prominent black power people such as Malcolm and Michael X, as well as George Jackson, Rastafari sought to fill a void that was left by these pillars of blackness being taken out. It was getting popular. And with all things that are popular, they are often getting too big to be maintained. As soon as Marley came onto the scene, Rastafari exploded. He was the most visible Rasta ever. And Marley was also able to articulate some of the political underpinnings in a way that was consumable by the general public.
It's saying M-A-L-I right now, but he's obviously on about Bob Marley in it, like Marley.
You had people turning Rastafari from faith to fashion. Soon you had every and anybody and they ma and they bald-head Grammy talking about their Rasta. It became an aesthetic, a brand, a t-shirt, a mug, content. I don't want to get too much into that because I have something coming down the pipeline with a good friend of mine where we could talk about the commodification of culture. However, when it comes to Rastafari...
Sick. Prince St. Andrew and fucking Foreign Man collab. Let's go.
This pretty much signaled its decline. And the final nail in the coffin was Selassie's coffin when he died in 75. So when you have someone like Snoop claiming he wanted to reborn himself into Rastafari and atone for his past, you should be able to understand now why Rastas was so skeptic.
I know reggae music is a form of hip-hop music.
I'm just gonna link this, I'm just gonna leave this up here, up there, so that you could just get a grasp of how blasphemous this is. It's almost...
Yeah, video on Lee Scratch Perry. Lee Scratch Perry was so prolific in reggae. Like, fucking, yeah, absolutely sick. Absolutely fucking sick. I've got to watch that fucking video, man.
As blasphemous as Niche saying God is dead. Hip-hop came from dancehall. Dancehall came from dub. And dub came from experimentation surrounding reggae. I ain't saying it again. Wait till the end of this video and watch the Lee Scratch Perry video. So Snoop is showing not only his ignorance of dancehall, reggae, all of that, right? But he also just is showcasing his ignorance in regards to Jamaican culture in general. He gone to Tough Gong Studios. And that's where Bob Marley and, it's just so many pillars of reggae and all kind of different celebrities and artists go to just to pay respects. But Snoop Lyin came there thinking that he was gonna learn. He said he needed to learn reggae. He needed to learn all of these, cultural artifacts and things like that, right? And pray tell, what does he do when he gets to Tough Gong Studios?
I wanted to go and get a real, thorough understanding of reggae, Rastafari, and the whole lifestyle. Tough Gong Studios. How are ya? We'd be sleeping all right getting over here. Good, love one. How you been? How you been?
You look good, man. You look good.
Yes, sir.
The stuff that we're doing now is like writing with Dre School, Ariel, Angela.
My thing is, right, this is my gripe, personally. If you say that you want to learn the culture, you want to get an authentic understanding of the culture, why you gonna bring your covey of white fellas dipping?
Right, I was thinking that as soon as I saw it.
Ariel, why y'all gonna bring them there when you could have just did the same record back in LA? Because that's where they all was. Diplo, literally.
Just a room full of white guys. Yeah, I'm gonna learn reggae with a room full of American white guys. Yeah, man. Sweet. Okay. So we're gonna make... That's why his tunes sounded like The Police.
The man responsible for beginning the gentrification of dance hall. Ariel, the industry titan that is responsible for acts like I'm and Charlie XCX, both artists and bands of whom I love, but damn, why you going all the way to J?
Straight to the source. Straight to the source.
Hey, say that you want to immerse yourself in the culture and basically align.
If I if I got to, like, I wouldn't do this because it would be cultural appropriation, but like if I wanted to go and like learn about reggae and go to Jamaica, and then like a white guy, because let's face it, there's white people in Jamaica, right? But they've got like Jamaican accents and shit, right? But if it was like a room full of white guys and they didn't speak with a Jamaican accent, I'd be like, really? Really? You're gonna teach me about reggae? All right, okay.
Your team, your production team, which is essentially the McDonald's of American music, acting like, you know, you getting a real authentic Jamaican experience. You know, I could make a compilation out of the times that I heard "Yeah, I'm on" in this documentary alone.
They were like, Snoop Lyin was really sat there smoking a huge blunt, being like, yeah, what do Jamaicans say? Rastafari, yeah, they say yeah man a lot, innit? Yeah man.
Most people's first awareness of Rasta came through listening to reggae music from its legends like the late Bob Marley, Peter Tosh.
Why they try hide the fact that Snoop Dogg is doing his best Yardie impression? Not even
yeah, he's literally doing a Yardie impression.
Chet Hanks impression, because he don't sound like no Jamaican there. And that's why they needed Marley. Not Bob Marley, but Damian Marley, his literal son, to lend some authenticity to this documentary.
You could tell that he has Rasta tendencies even before meeting him. I mean, for example, the most obvious one is herb smoking. And he was one of those first hip-hop stars that I heard come across and really be a big herb advocate. Uncle Snoop.
And they don't stop there neither.
I really thought the they're obviously not auto captions. I think these are like actual captions. Oh no, they are auto-generated. That's really fucking good for a Jamaican accent like that. Holy shit. I really didn't think they were gonna get that.
You can't tell me they ain't paid us, boy, to say this right here.
When I first hear about Snoop Dogg, I think he's a real Jamaican, you know.
You thought I was real Jamaican when you first heard of me?
Yeah, man.
No, sorry. Nuh-uh.
The skulls that were dug. This reveals an issue that was also pretty ostensible in the Bond series. The usage of locals to articulate agendas or set...
I am calling AI racist. Yeah, 100%.
...public opinion. It's like co-opting movements. You know, in fact, no, it is co-opting movements. It's making the viewer...
Yeah, wearing a Liverpool tracksuit. Yeah, it was around that time he also started getting into like fucking football and shit. No, wait, that was just like a... No, that wasn't like specifically a Liverpool one, was it?
That were dug.
One of those first hip-hop stars that I heard come
on.
When I first hear about Snoop...
Oh my god, it actually is! Nah, you know what it must have been? You know what it must have been? He must have been like, right, I've seen these Rastas. I've seen them in their videos. They all wear Adidas in it, right? And he's good friends with like Jonathan Davis from Korn and shit like that. So he was like, all right, hit me up with the Adidas link, right? Oh, in fact, I don't even think Korn have the Adidas link anymore. He must have just got it on his own, innit? Anyway, he's got onto Adidas and he's been like, yeah, Rastas in Jamaica, yeah, they're like sort of English as well because it's a British colony. So I'll just get Liverpool Football Club. I'll just get Liverpool Football Club. That's it. That's the tracksuit I'm gonna get. Snoop straight up just being a little scally, you know.
I think he's a real Jamaican, you know.
It is weird. It is weird.
First heard of me?
Yeah, man.
The skulls that were dug. This reveals an issue that was also pretty ostensible in the Bond series. The usage of locals to articulate
Bond
agendas
series
or set public opinion. It's like co-opting movements. You know, in fact, no, it is co-opting movements. It's making the viewer think that it is okay to equate Snoop Lyin with Rastafari. It is attenuating the acrimony that should be applied when trying to enter and appropriate this culture. It's exactly why, sadly, some things need to be kept behind a gate. Because there ain't no way that Under My Slang Thing should have been sampled and bastardized.
Okay, not Under Muslin Thing. What he referenced then is Under Me Slang Thing, right? Which is a tune I'll play it for you now. Classic dub reggae tune.
Way in my brain.
You know that one, innit?
It's way in my brain. It's way in my.
You know that one, innit?
And parodied. A travesty. I wanted to spit on the floor when I heard this.
Oh, he's obviously put the tune in there, copyrighted. Nebula got the foreign cut, right? Okay, so we can't hear that. You gotta go get Nebula if you want to hear the actual remix. Fuck it, I'll hazard a little bit of Snoop Lyin under me slang tang. Fruit juice, is that what it's called? Fruit juice. Snoop Lyin fruit juice.
Loose, take a but when you know me can't lose. In my garden, me pin the fruit that me choose. Fruit juice, in my glass, you know me can't lose. Take away my worry, my stress, and my blues. Fruit juice, levels, natural vibes. And when me give them, my princess say she love.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. Yeah, it's bad. Okay.
Berry, cantaloupe, soursop, pineapple, mango, my taste buds tango, an ice cold beverage in my honeycomb hideout.
This sample is from one of the most classic dance hall tunes ever made. Oh God. I know this boy gotta be...
It's dance hall. It's not dub reggae. Yeah, sorry. That's my bad. Dance hall tune. Thank you for the follow.
He gotta be rolling in his grave if he ain't dead. Snoop Dogg just defecated on it like a dog do on a lawn. It was clear that Snoop Dogg had absolutely no intentions of accurately and authentically appropriating the culture. They wanted the ethos of reggae and Rastafari and Jamaican culture. They didn't want the politics. They didn't want the underpinnings, the political underpinnings of it. Just like the other litany of artists that would ride the Rasta wave until it cannot keep them afloat anymore. And this...
It's really weird because, like, as I say, like, as a white guy who has, you know, been in the past dead into reggae, dead into, like, learning about Rastafari and stuff like that, and I, myself, am guilty for sure of appropriating, you know, the Jamaican sort of accent in like certain scenarios and shit like that, right? Pretty fucking bad. And I've also known other white guys who take it like that step further and, you know, grow dreadlocks and shit like that and start being like proper fucking insufferable with it, you know what I mean? To the point where it's like, holy fucking shit, you are just being racist now, you know what I mean? So... here's the thing, yeah? It's weird seeing Snoop Dogg do something like this, and it's like quite similar to like just what a lot of white guys do when they like figure out what reggae is and smoke weed too much. You know what I mean? It's just really weird. I'm just like, what the fuck? This is so fucking odd. But he just went there. You know what I mean? He just went there and did it. Oh, God. I never went that far, but I did take a fistful of mushrooms at Reggae Fest Miami in my younger days. Yeah, but like, what, you know, yeah, whatever. Like, you could, whatever. Taking mushrooms at a reggae, like a reggae night or like a reggae festival. Yeah, whatever. That's fine. That's fucking fine. As long as you don't like start like talking like a Jamaican guy or like, you know, speaking with a Caribbean accent. when you're fucking when you're tripping, you know, that's not good. That's not good.
This commodification of culture is articulated beautifully nearing the end of the documentary, and I know why they put it there. They put it there because they know a lot of people ain't gonna get to the end of this documentary, because literally Bunny Wailer manager starts speaking some fucks.
And reggae and this whole thing is a huge commerce, and you have the spiritual side of it and you have the huge commercial side of it, in spite of the spiritual. And a part of
like the amount of dub nights and dance hall nights that I've been to where it's just full of white guys wearing patches like this on their jackets, and they've got like the Adidas tracksuit. There's like that famous fuckboy Adidas tracksuit. Let me see if we can find a picture of it. Yeah, this is it. This is it right here. It's the famous one. And white guys would just be wearing this. They would just be fucking wearing this shit. You know, and stuff like that. All over the fucking joint. Yeah, the amount of lighters with his face is so tacky, like super fucking tacky.
The problem, both as a music and as a culture, is how this is viewed commercially.
The importance of being earnest in your dealings. It was clear that Diplo, Snoop Dogg, whatever the director name is, they wasn't any much entertained with trying to understand this culture. He wasn't trying to reborn himself, and that's exactly why he was shortly excommunicated from the Rastafari faith. The sad part is, he had already won by that point. He had successfully commodified, gentrified, and diluted the Caribbean culture. And we as Caribbean people let him. And that's because we're often very encouraging and very inviting, very embracing of other people into our culture. That's the Caribbean way. But sometimes it bites us in the back. Much like Columbus coming to the Lucayans and giving them the Bible, and he left with the labor and the land and the resources and whatever spoils he was able to take with him. It's like what FD talks about in regards to allowing the future of hip-hop to be decided upon by others, rather than the black people that it was actually created by, or the gatekeepers that were actually able to hold it with some integrity. And it's just like I talk about in this video over here, where I talk about the commodification of, well, you will hear how come I can't say that word in this video right here. I can see it then.
Right then. Wait, what's this? What was the first virus? Spoop. Don't know why the fuck. Oh, it's because this is on the autoplay in my playlist. Now, he mentioned in that fucking video just there, the video that I want to watch next. And apparently it's not in my watch later thing. So let's search for FD Signifier. And it should be one of the first one that comes up. There it is. It's Drake and the Death of Hip Hop. This is a long ass video. We might not finish this one tonight. But let's check it out. Let's check out the start of it. Well, excuse me. Okay. FD Signifier. He was on Red Planet with me, Sophie, Bad Bunny, and Tim on Sunday. Very fucking based guy. Yeah, no worries, super sweet boy. Yeah, it's fucking important to highlight black voices, you know, all the time, by the way, not just in Black History Month, you know. FD Signifier vid on Drake. Let's check this out. Let's check this shit out. FD Signifier. Drake and the Death of Hip Hop. You found FD, Foreign Man, and several others through here. Fuck yeah, let's go. That's what you want. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to. That's what I want to see. Okay. Let's have a little fucking hyphen there, and we are good to go.
There were high points in there somewhere, but overall, Drake's music didn't have a whole lot of real substance other than being catchy, highly entertaining, and, you know, cool. It was cool. And I want to be clear that this isn't a problem. This isn't illegal in hip hop. Most rappers, well before then and up until now, do want some semblance of pop and commercial appeal and success. lots of pop rappers are still legends and highly respected in hip hop. Guys like Ludacris and Nelly dominated the early 2000s with classic hits and albums. And they were preceded by guys like Busta Rhymes and LL Cool J, who did the same thing.
In regards to the last video, I remember showing a video of a guy who was raised white with a Jamaican accent, was super natural and chill about it, versus another guy who went full on appropriation with it. Are you sure that wasn't me that you saw that? Oh yeah, you remember me showing a video of a guy. Oh yeah. Yeah, you did say that. Yeah, that was me. Yeah. Yeah, we did that. Oh God, what's the guy's name? Can't remember the guy's name. He's really fucking annoying. He's like the most annoying guy ever, but he's like a rapper or some shit. Just like some white ginger rapper guy. Yeah. Horrific.
In the early and mid 90s. Hip hop didn't have to be hard or street or even challenging or complex all the time. But when it was clear that a rapper was a nice amount more pop than hip hop, even if they were loved and appreciated, they would automatically be excluded from serious GOAT consideration, at least back in my day.
Let's go. The Canadian Destroyer.
I'm not very proud of this video, but I am so excited to get some things off my chest. It's gonna be a good video, y'all. I just hate that it comes at the cost of momentarily breaking a rule I have of not outright just dragging famous figures. This is a bit different. People seem confused about how I could dislike a guy like Drake, who clearly worked so hard to be liked by everyone. I would get questions about what my problem with Drake was and if he ever will get a video. Initially, I thought,
are these when these people are saying this, do they not know that Drake is like a domestic abuser? Do they not know that? Do they not know that he like beat the shit out of Rihanna and shit when they were dating? Is that like not common knowledge? Like what the fuck?
Already enough blank is awful and here's why videos, no shade. Do I really need to make another one? After all, despite his...
Yeah, I saw FD and Dan Olsen were having a chat last night. Yeah. That should be pretty fucking good, yeah.
Celebrity status, Drake is still a human. And in all his success and fame...
You'd forgotten about that? Fair enough, yeah.
YouTube or
I just don't forget about that shit, you know what I mean? Is he nonce adjacent as well with Millie Bobby Brown? Oh my fucking God. Wait, was Drake? Wait, was that Chris Brown with? Oh, that was Chris Brown with Rihanna. Yo, hang on. Drake domestic abuser. Drake domestic abuse. No. I'm thinking of. Okay, you're gonna laugh. Yes, I'm racist. Yeah, Drake. I'm thinking of Drake Bell. You know, from Drake and Josh. Okay, never mind.
Twitter or whatever and see random people you don't know shit on you and your work.
I was thinking about Chris Brown and Rihanna. I was sure that Drake had dated Rihanna, but I was thinking about Chris Brown and Rihanna, obviously, and then I was thinking about Drake and Josh.
I know what that feels like. And even when it's bad faith crap.
Maybe search controversy as well. Hang on. Sexual assault settlement. Drake continued to have more scandals. Reportedly paid a 350 grand settlement after being accused of... No, I am right about this. No. I am right about this. Yeah, he kissed a girl who was 17 on stage. So weird. So weird. Yeah, and he's like apparently he had like a lawsuit with someone called Laquana Morris. Yeah. So, there you go. Anyway. I can say, though, that Drake texted a sex worker friend of yours and it was bogging. Oh, my God. Holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit. Hey, Samurai Sphinx. How's it going? There's a whole meme about Drake being a cartoonish groomer. Yeah. Yeah. Kids TV turned folks fucked up. I don't think that was kids TV. I think that was the patriarchy, to be honest. I don't think we can blame kids TV on that.
Be hot takes on your stuff. It's still not fun to be piled on by people at random.
Like, I guess you could argue that like kids TV did like it's part of the patriarchy, right? In the way that they hire people, in the way that they treat kids, stuff like that. I guess you could argue that in terms of kids TV, you know? Yeah, like well, not that it enforces stereotypes in that, like, kids' TV, like, you know, will... The power structure within the people who run kids' TV, right? Don't mean kids' TV, the product. I mean the system. Well, yeah, so many former child stars come out fucked up, but again, there are a lot who don't. Now, I'm not saying that makes it okay. I'm saying that it's not necessarily kids' TV that does that. It's the people who work within the industry. It's the system of you know, patriarchy, abuse, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Men who get a lot of money and power never seems to work out. Right, exactly, yeah. That's what the two Drakes have in common, for example. Wait, was this Drake the rapper on kids' TV? I didn't know. Holly Willoughby got her ass smacked on SMTV? Well, I'd blanked that out of my mind. What the fuck? He was on Degrassi. What's that? What's Degrassi? Degrassi, it's like a high school thing? Holy shit. Well, there you go. Every day's a school day for Muel.
Content. Shout out to all my haters out there, by the way. You know who you are. Further, I honestly didn't know if I had enough to say about Drake to make a whole video about him. His music, it just isn't that deep. His story isn't that.
He played a disabled person? Canadian Drake Grange Hill?
Interesting, and my dislike of him
nah.
and his music is pretty simple and straightforward. Drake's music is like pizza. It's entertaining and predictable and good, but, you know, at the end of the day, not very nourishing, not very fulfilling, and you're probably going to need to eat something healthier at some point in time. But after further contemplation, I realized there's more to my issues with Drake than Drake. It's really more what he represents as an artist than I was initially aware of. And that while I'll try not to just do a mean-spirited screed on him as a person, because I don't know him as a person, but when I place him in the greater context of hip-hop and what hip-hop has been in the last decade.
No, Drake was with Rihanna. Yeah, I was right about that as well. I'm absolutely certain I heard something about Drake being horrific to Rihanna. I'm so certain of it. Hang on, I'm just looking at this shit now. Why did they split?
Okay, plus I realize there's actually so much to say and that I don't have to be all that mean-spirited to say it. That said, though.
No, they were together. I know Chris Brown was with her. Like, and I know Chris Brown was horrific to her, but like, yeah, I swear Drake and Rihanna were together, innit? Anyway, whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. Whatever.
This will not be nice for him to watch.
Yeah, he was just really, really creepy to her. Not Chris Brown level. Yeah, not Chris Brown level. Yeah. Yeah. He was just a bit of a fucking weirdo, right? You know?
If he were ever to watch it. And for that.
Muel, I'm sure he was. So many folks were.
I am genuinely regretful. So first and foremost, let's set the stage. According to All Top Everything, a ranking site that purports to aggregate real data to make definitive top 10 lists, Drake is the second best-selling rapper of all time behind Eminem, and has done that feat in probably around 10 less years than Eminem did. He is the most popular hip-hop artist in the game right now, and has easily been thus for the last 5 or 6 years. Drake is a hit-making machine and has songs to set the party off, set the wedding reception off, set the Netflix and chill off, set the TikTok trend off. And let me be clear, these are not necessarily bad things to have that type of variety. These are not in and of themselves anti-hip hop. Drake, in terms of pure talent, is a top tier rapper and lyricist. He's able to turn a phrase, switch up a flow, ride a beat, and land a haymaker as good as any rapper that's ever done it. There's a reason that Drake is in the unique spot he's in. And I want to make sure that's understood. But let's look at this top 10 list. As you go down the list, a name should really jump out at you as soon as it comes across your screen. Yeah, there you go. Flo Rida is the number 7 best-selling rapper of all time, above fucking Tupac. Is Flo Rida even a rapper? Who's to say?
What the fuck?
No, seriously. Who gets to make that distinction in 2021? We'll come back to it. I bring this up to establish early on that record sales is not a true marker for quality and impact as a hip hop artist. But if you took Flo Rida and you gave him better bars, I'm not going to be able to avoid the shade in this one. This is where we're going. So just understand. What you should get from this list is that white hip hop fans mean a lot to commercial success.
Right.
And this, again, isn't automatically a problem, nor is it new. White hip hop fans en masse have never liked the same type of rap that traditional hardcore hip hop fans, black and white, have liked throughout history, which is why
exactly.
Sales have never been a huge part of any conversation of who the all-time greats or GOATs in hip-hop are. Yes, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a lot of hip-hop fans who
Why don't these captions want to say GOATs? Oh, it did say GOATs. Okay.
wouldn't at this point have Drake somewhere in their top 10, and the confused Lost Souls might even have him in their top 5, but no one has Flo Rida in their top 5.
No.
Because we don't really care about sales. And understand that concept of the GOAT, that GOAT status, is a pretty significant thing in the world of hip hop. It's emblematic of what hip hop is supposed to be and stand for. So to be a part of that conversation means a lot, or at least from my perspective, it used to mean a lot more. So how is this real? How can a guy that I am unflatteringly comparing to Flo Rida get involved in that GOAT conversation? What did he do? What did Drake do to get here? And what happened in hip hop to make that possible? If you recall from my Kanye videos, I argue that Kanye West reframed hip hop in his image in the early 2000s and completely broke the mold on what a rap superstar could do and look like, and what mainstream hip hop could sound like. He ended an era of what I call hip hop kayfabe, which I describe as a performance of black masculinity, pantomiming this larger than life gangster or celebrity persona, something that arguably came into prominence with the likes of NWA and was refined into its purest and most authentic form by Tupac, and then ended with Kanye when Kanye...
No, it's okay. You don't need to send me things to verify that Drake was dating Rihanna, because I know that they did, because it's here. I've got it right here. I've got it literally right here. 31st of October 2016, Drake and Rihanna reportedly split up. It happened. It happened. It's a thing. I wasn't making it up. Don't worry. You don't need to do it. You don't need to do it. But yeah, he did do a lot of weird shit. He did do a lot of fucking weird shit during that time.
Refused to perform this kayfabe, but became a superstar all the same. Kanye changed the landscape of what being a rap superstar could be. And in his wake, other artists who also didn't fit that typical mold back then, with 4 artists in particular being the most prominent of this wave that he ushered in, that of Lupe Fiasco, Wale, Kid Cudi, and most successfully of this group by far, Drake. However, even in this new permutation of black masculinity that was more human and sensitive and introspective, Drake was really testing the boundaries of what black people and rap fans were willing to put up with. Lupe, my favorite of this group, was still from the south side of Chicago, still closely aligned to traditional images of black masculinity and the streets. And similar things can be said for Kid Cudi and Wale and a lot of other figures that came in around this time. All of these men, like Kanye, were still cool, still had commanding presences and confidence in their craft upon emerging on the scene. They may not have been gangster or street, but they were still able to exhibit enough of that traditional swag that we attribute to black men. Drake, on the other hand, his transgressions weren't just a matter of not being street. Drake just kind of seemed out of place, even among this new wave of more sensitive and more human rap stars.
Yeah, I saw someone tweet about Kanye being against NFTs, and they said, yo, it makes absolute sense that Kanye is against NFTs, but if he was for NFTs, that would also make absolute sense, right?
Drake was kind of a dork, and it was hard not to notice early on.
The mills, dodging greed and niggas who cock and squeeze the steel. I do this for my niggas that got degrees and still broke as fuck. Fuck your flag, democracy has failed. I'm in a real estate with no properties for sale. Probably could build with Socrates himself. No soccer moms to throw us on soccer teams, but still kick shit so cold, boy, I can freeze in hell.
Ready? All right. Look. Look. New York. Check. I say it like this. I say vacuum materials and shine wheels. What's your life like? This how mine feels. I like my seat back. I like my wine chill. I look good, smell better, and I rhyme ill. I say I'm at these girls' neck and head.
It's clear Drake felt...
Yeah, like just showing showing a guy who was like absolutely killing it with the freestyle. And then, yeah, Drake just reading off his BlackBerry for 5 minutes, you know? And... that start was really cringe. Like, the start to that was really cringe.
This sense of otherness for his presence, that he was a guest and not a real member of the hip hop community. He was outside of the box already without ever having been in it. He was tolerated for his potential and talent, but not accepted. And it's not like a lot of people really tried to hide that that's what they thought of him. There was a prominent blogger at this time named Big Ghostface. I don't think it was the actual real Ghostface.
Still better than anything that you'd come up with? Come on. Come on. Here's the thing, yeah? Talent is a pursued interest. That's all talent is. Basically, all that Drake is proving to anybody with bars like that is that he's just actually not that arsed about writing music. That's all it is. When you see a rapper come up with like really basic lines like that, it just means that they don't care. Like, they're not bothered. They're not in it. You know what I mean? And that's the same for any musician, really. If you find a musician to be like lacking in inspiration in how they talk about stuff, or how they like communicate what their goals are, like through their music, then it's like they're not really in it. They're not put their heart and soul into it, you know?
Ghostface Killer, but he wrote in like Ghostface Killer's voice, and he would do his yearly softest rappers list, and Drake was almost always on that list. And one year he was number 10 and number 1. He would say shit like Drake was the only nigga on earth capable of turning sandpaper into moist towelettes, and referring to Drake's sound as hold my purse music. And let's get into it. Let's recognize a situation here. I can't go further without addressing.
Not hip hop related, but Incubus with their album 8 is exactly what you've described. There was MB, one kid listening to us rap. We were dancehall and grime and that. That's pretty cool. Same goes for anything you can become better at. Math, science, art, spirituality. Right, exactly. Yeah. It's literally called 8 because it's their 8th studio album. Damn, that sucks. I like Incubus. I quite like Incubus. That really sucks that they did that.
The very obvious and unfair reasons why Drake dealt with a lot of ostracism in hip hop, especially earlier in his career. If you're too young to remember Drake's earlier days, just really a few years ago, he has always been the subject of ridicule,
on his hot
lots
Cheetos.
of jokes at his expense, and at the root of these jokes, it was often patriarchal standards of
the type of guy to fart in the toilet and flush it.
Masculinity, specifically black masculinity.
That's absolutely cold.
Didn't measure up to. Drake,
bro, you're from Manchester, innit? Do you listen to Chimpo? Bro, I know Chimpo. Shut up, do I listen to Chimpo? I know him.
Drake was biracial and raised by his white Jewish mother in Toronto, Canada, and was a child actor. His experiences growing up were mostly devoid of the type of texture we associate.
Yes, as in person, yes.
With rap artists. Now,
I'm a DJ. You weren't here anyway, but like literally just said about a couple of hours ago, I got my name DJ Muel from being a DJ, like doing drum and bass, reggae, stuff like that. Yeah. I know Chimpo. Yeah, he's a top guy. Really, really lovely guy. Actually, one of the loveliest guys. in that whole crew. Honestly, yeah, lovely, lovely guy.
Economically, Drake wasn't privileged, but he did not fully grow up in the same
like
culture.
just like all together sound in it. You know what I mean?
Of Toronto that say Cardinal Official or Chaos were from. I don't rock with the biracial people aren't black stuff. I believe that being clearly coded as black in any colonized nation and acknowledging said coding in your daily life is really all that is required to have a black experience.
You should be
and
poet
all
laureate.
Black experience aren't and don't have to be.
I wouldn't go that far.
The same. But not everyone is like that. There is a lot of ridiculous mess going on TikTok, which I won't touch. And because of this, there are a lot of people that do feel like being light-skinned, especially as a man, means something more on how you act and how you present. And Drake brought on a renaissance of light-skinned men jokes, with almost all of them directed at how light-skinned men are somehow not as masculine as dark-skinned men. And that is some anti-black shit to perpetuate. On top of this, Drake's music was definitely more geared toward female listeners of hip hop. In fact, he kind of revolutionized this in a way he doesn't get enough credit for. Some, if not most of it, is still, soft boy misogyny, but every rapper for the longest would always have at least one song dedicated to
soft boy massage me. It's soft boy misogyny, actually. Sorry, why am I wasting my time with those captions when I know that FD's done his own captions for this? What's wrong with me?
The ladies, but really most of these were really bad in retrospect, and even the best ones were still very much from a male-centered perspective. But Drake was different. His songs for women were more effectively angled to make the women feel centered in the music, as opposed to the songs being about.
My CC said soft boy with an I? No way. Oh my God.
Them, if that makes sense. Take a song like Fancy, Drake's first single off his first album, featuring T.I., a rapper who is so misogynist that even hip hop is like, dude, chill, you're doing too much. Drake has lyrics like,
my pants waist, time heels off, and heels hurt to walk in. They go with the clutch that you carry your lip gloss in. And look, I really think nobody does it better. I love the way that you put it together.
It just fills you with warm vibes. That's like, what woman wouldn't want to hear that from her man, right? And then here comes T.I.
Well, aren't you a breath of fresh air? From all these superficial gold digging bitches in here. They get a ball and figure they ain't gotta pick a career. Guess they plan on sucking dicks until some knees appear.
Yeah. So because of this, Drake garnered
yeah, that's a real song for the ladies right there.
Strong female fandom, which because of the way patriarchy works, we just will always hate on any artist, rapper, musician, whatever, who does that. It's just some shit that motherfuckers do. It's not even a black thing. It's just a male thing. I don't want to get into all that. The point here is that a lot of these were prominent, unfair criticisms that Drake had to face in his earliest years as an artist, and it played out in his music. You can hear tints of frustration and insecurity in his lyrics at the time, feeling like he had the core talent to be a rap superstar, and he became very successful, but hip hop as a whole early on.
Okay, I'm really glad that I stopped using the Google Chrome CC because it's struggling so hard with that T.I. verse. It is not having a good time with that T.I. verse at all. It's like breaking.
Kind of kept them at an arm's distance. Looking back, although I definitely participated in my fair share of Drake slander, I regret that. It's not just because
it's not moved past it.
On these shallow criticisms kind of hid bigger concerns that we didn't think about at the time. So if you don't like Drake, and these are your reasons, these are bad reasons to dislike Drake. Before moving on, I do also want to touch on the very weird and concerning grooming type behavior that Drake has exhibited over the years, having text message conversations with underage white female celebrities, Millie Bobby Brown and Billie Eilish. I'm honestly inclined that these two cases—
Billie Eilish as well? What the fuck?
Probably maybe some other cases that we don't know about are really just situations where Drake's insatiable desire for clout and to be relevant in every famous person's friend clashes with fucking common sense. If you haven't noticed, Drake has this thing where if something is popular, he really wants you to know that he likes it too. Oh, this sports team is good. This is Drake's favorite sports team. This rapper is popular. Wow, that's crazy. Drake likes them too. Afrobeat getting hot? Not without Drake, it's not. Wow, Drum, that Cha-Cha song has a really good, cool Latin Caribbean groove. Be ashamed to not have Drake get a piece, right?
I like to Cha-Cha, hey. I like to Cha-Cha, hey. With a Dominican.
20 minutes. Fucking hell.
It's later.
It's shameless, really. And while I don't think it's
just
good,
straight up stole his tune,
that this 30-year-old man has text message exchanges with teenage girls that aren't in his family.
Drake seems to have an image insecurity to be latching on to everyone else's stuff. But you got to ask yourself how much of that is him and how much of it is his PR, right? Because his PR manager is going to be telling him to do this shit. Because that's all public relations shit in it. If you're pretending to like stuff, sure, there's an element of insecurity to that, to want to be accepted, but there's also a huge PR thing surrounding that. Like, oh damn, like the fucking, like what would it be now? Do you know what I mean? Like what would it be now? I don't fucking know. What's the hot thing right now? Squid Game? That's not really, that was like last year. I can't really think of what it would be, you know. Stealing in a culture that's based on sampling? Yeah, but sampling is totally fucking like, it's not like stealing the whole ass tune, is it? You know what I mean? Like when you sample something, you don't steal the whole ass tune. Come on, man.
I don't think it's due to a predatory nature, but that's my perception based off what I know. And sadly, scarily, maybe we never know what's going to come out in the future, but I'm just going to go with
Wordle is the hot thing right now. That would be like, yes. That would be like Drake getting into Wordle. Yo, the Wordle dollar is huge right now. Go and get on Twitter and start doing some Wordles, Drake. That would be like that. Yeah, that's right. There's also a level of insecurity to listed to everything your PR says for everything. Right. So, like, how much of it is the PR, like, preying on that insecurity? Shit like that. How much of it is, like, him taking that decision to run with it because of his insecurity? There's also that as well. Invest in Wordle coin, yeah. NFTs, I should have said NFT. NFTs are the big thing. Drake's going to be into NFTs. Is Drake into NFTs? Drake NFT. No. Of course. Of course. All right. Okay. Yeah.
with that for now. Drake,
how you doing, Bade? Go follow Bade Waxter, everybody. How's it going? Good to see you, bro.
Also has shady behavior that often hovers around him. Members of his entourage have assaulted people, bullied people in the streets. There's this bizarre story about hot sauce in a condom that just came out. I'm not
Wait, he was really into Fortnite?
Any of these things or condoning them, especially if they're true. But they're, for one, sadly, par for the course in the rap world to an extent. To complain about misogyny, soft boy misogyny, or whatever in hip hop is not pointless, but it's an unfair criticism within the context of what I'm doing here. Especially from a lifelong hip hop fan who's loved his fair share of misogynistic rap music since I was a kid. So I'm not gonna try to pull that out to attack Drake for it now. That'd be hypocritical. So if you came for the easy slander on Drake being soft or corny or a bad guy, that's kind of all you're getting there. From my perspective, those things are legitimate or significant, but they're not the big problem that I made this video for.
Oh my God, yeah, he played Fortnite on Twitch with Ninja. I forgot about that. Holy fucking shit.
To me, the issue of Drake is more complex than Drake. But what he means as an artist and what he represents in the evolution or possibly the de-evolution of hip hop in the last 10 years. And further, these are my views and opinions. And more than any other video I've done on this channel, I want to be critical of my unique standpoint and perspective and biases because they greatly inform this take. I think I've made it clear on prior controversial subjects that I don't expect or ask people to cancel or uncancel their phase or stop liking certain figures because of their problematic behavior. I just don't see that as realistic or helpful in the long run. But I am trying to get across a particular message intertwined with Drake over the course of this video. Dying 2 has this really awesome video on the commodification of music. And it's not just hip hop, although hip hop is a really good example of how this works. I'm gonna leave it in the description for you to check out, but the gist of it is assessing how hip hop in particular, but again, all other forms of music, have went through a specific commodification process that has really stripped it of so much of its core elements in order to make it more palatable for commodification.
Like, I was thinking about this the other day when I was listening to, God, who was I listening to? Jurassic 5, I think. And I was thinking, yo, hip-hop, the hip-hop that really got popular was the hip-hop that was about, like, making money and shit like that. And that's the shit that comes through every time. When you see, like, tracks that are advertised to you in the hip-hop style and they come to you on YouTube and it's like, it's all about making paper. The lyrics are all about making money and shit like that. And it's like, oh, that shit is profitable. You know what I mean? Because, like, that serves the capitalist purpose, right? But then when it comes down to things like talking about the experiences of black people in the street, the experiences of black people growing up, the experiences of black people in different countries, right? In different states, all this kind of stuff. That shit's just kind of swept under the rug, generally speaking. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's some of the best stuff. And yeah, I was thinking about that a lot. Like it's making it more palatable for commodification. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you hear about like it's like you hear about fucking like whenever I've spoke to like white people about hip hop who are generally not into hip hop, they always say the same thing. They always say, oh, I don't listen to hip hop. It's really scary. They rap about guns and shit like that and right? And it's like, yeah, like a little bit, you know? Yeah, 80s rap was good. Yeah, really, really, really good.
And to be bought and sold in a capitalist society. And Drake kind of perfectly encapsulates what that looks like in 2022. But to explain that, we kind of got to start with what hip hop was before that process really got underway. We got to contextualize the world of hip hop before Drake.
Cheers, Quill. I'll check that out.
Hip-hop isn't just a style of music. It's a cultural aesthetic and philosophy to an extent. It was born of a mixture of black exceptionalism and creativity, but also black struggle and pain. While many early figures of importance in hip hop were informed by Afro-Caribbean and the blues and rock and roll and disco, hip hop is still definitely a urban black American art form, regardless of the varieties of how it exists throughout the world today. But because of its ubiquitous nature, it is very much a highly sought after commodity, like all art. When hip hop emerged as this cool new thing, it didn't take long to realize that as an art form, it had immense potential as a commodity. And there was
oh, I see Columbo coming into the chat, just saying hi to chat and not to me. All right, that how it is. Okay, all right, I see.
Value to be extracted from it. Hip hop, like other black music before it, such as the blues and rock and roll,
how you doing, man?
Offered this intimate window into blackness. It put our souls on display, and audiences, especially white audiences, who as a product of white supremacist hegemony really destroyed any nature of a cultural history of their own, have always been thirsty for and drawn to the rawness and realness of black souls translated through our music. But unlike the blues and rock and roll, for whatever reason, it was much harder for hip hop to be easily replicated and commodified by capitalist interests without the participation and consent of the hip hop community. For one, there was just something about hip hop that couldn't be like...
I missed the goths. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Faked and replicated effectively by the white participants in hip hop. And there was something about the white participants in hip hop who were true fans that made them more loyal to the culture than their rock and roll counterparts. There are a lot of really significant white figures in...
I missed the cyber goths. I've seen that video like so many times, like
easily steal the soul.
Yeah, man. Thank you for making me go back and checking that. Never seen it before. I've literally never seen those goths before, gang. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Role of black rock and roll and become a megastar bigger than any of his
Be right back.
peers. And you compare him to a guy like Vanilla Ice, who rode a short wave, but once it was made clear that the real rap and hip hop fans rejected him, his wave stopped almost instantly. He couldn't reproduce the realness of what hip hop was. I'm not sure what causes this. Maybe it was the hindsight of seeing what happened to black blues and rock and roll artists. It's hard to say. But suffice to say, even as hip hop became more and more commercial and commodified and bigger across the world, it was still very much within the control of the originators of the culture to an extent. And to me, this is because of this informal, often invisible guiding force in hip hop that I'm gonna call the gatekeepers. The gatekeepers are a variety of figures throughout the history of hip hop. Sometimes they were street level record executives and label owners, radio hosts and DJs, local entertainment, and sometimes criminal enterprise figures. The corporate interests that really controlled the music industry at the time did not have any real care for hip hop and hip hop culture and what it meant to the fans and the people. They only cared about the capital to be extracted from it. And they controlled the means of production for hip hop artists to gain the most out of their art. The gatekeepers played a role here in managing this thirst for extracting capital with maintaining a semblance of control over what hip hop was and not letting it be destroyed. Imagine the gatekeepers of hip hop as the Jedi Council. Surely not the most effective bureaucratic entity, but even at their worst, providing a seriously important service behind the scenes. They were the figures that made sure that hip hop, for the longest, didn't end up like rock and roll. And they often did this by kind of managing just who within the hip hop world was able to wield its power and influence over the culture, whose music was allowed to represent the culture and be celebrated by it in full, and whose was only provisionally connected. They established a hegemonic ideal of what hip hop was and influenced participants in the culture to protect and reify this hegemony. For a generation of black youth until now, mostly, hip hop felt so precious because it was this beautiful and amazing thing that uniquely belonged to us. And we had this divine right to dictate what was to be done with it and to make money from it. But to ensure this, it took a lot of other processes. To keep this power under our control required a lot of other compromises. For example, back in my day, to be a rap superstar, you usually have to go through almost a hero's journey of activities. First, the rapper would have to be somewhat talented and find an audience of some sort, maybe do some local shows or freestyle battles, make a demo tape. Then they shop that demo tape to other people and get a buzz going, and somewhere along the line, they get someone to help navigate them in the form of a manager. And then that manager would really start taking them to the gatekeepers. And then at that point, it would be like collecting signatures in a form. At those intervals where they met with the gatekeeper would ask two essential questions. One, is this person going to add to or take from the culture? And then two, is there money to be made here? Ideally, it would be both. Ideally, the answer would be that they would add to the culture and you can make money, but not often. Often the gatekeeper will have to choose one issue over the other, sometimes checking just one.
Okay. Sorry, gang. Sorry, but I gotta go. I've got to go. I will be back on Saturday. We're having a bonus stream on Saturday. Thank you to the community goals that we have hit over the last month and the month before. But thank you so much for being here, gang. I know that this is a bit of an abrupt ending, but yeah, the main person that I'm seeing at the moment, she's about 5 minutes away. So we are going to go and raid somebody. Who we're going to go raid? Let's have a little fucking look. There's so many people online, literally all the time. Who can we go and show some love to? I am gonna go and raid Only Zots. Only Zots is a phenomenal streamer. Does a lot of mutual aid work. Basically, every single bit of dough that they make for the stream, they donate to mutual aid movements across where they live, the town where they live, the city where they live, and stuff like that. Thank you so much for all the support tonight, folks. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for all the follows, for all the hosts, for all the raids. I didn't get any of those, by the way. For all the subs, for all the donos, and thank you just for being here. Thank you just for hanging out. That's important as well. I love you very much. I'll see you on Saturday. Don't forget, the stream starts at 4 p.m. on Saturday. I'll see you then. Love you very much. Here is the raid command. Boom. There we go. You're gonna enjoy this this stream that I'm taking you into for only Zots. Right, I'll see you later, gang. Mwah. Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night.
Damn. Thank you.
Fuck 12, fuck 12. Fuck 12, fuck 12, fuck 12. Fuck 12, fuck 12, fuck 12.
You're big.